Hey guys, Hunter here with the Grab Matters podcast. I first and foremost just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been listening, liking, commenting, subscribing. I also want to say that I did get some merch up on the website now. Got some long sleeve shirts, some short sleeve shirts, got a mug. We'll probably end up getting some more stuff up on there as well. Also started up a Patreon, so if you're interested in a little bit of behind the scenes access, seeing who the guests are early, stuff like that, definitely check that out. I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. Enjoy the episode.
Waterboarding. They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
One side, air railing.
A new dimension.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we have Jamie Lopina. Jamie, how you doing?
Good. I'm really focused on keeping the microphone a fist away. Like
Okay. You're doing good.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Sounds
Start off with some easy questions. Favorite grab?
Probably tail.
Tail?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just
I have a really hard time reaching the middle of my board for some reason. So tail and nose always come easier to me. I don't know why.
either end of the board. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's start off early days. Where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
I grew up in a place called Minooka, Illinois. Super random. It's like an hour outside of Chicago. We lived on a man-made ski lake, but my parents aren't boating people. We moved there because it had a big lot, not because there was a lake. So, not a water sports family, but did grow up on a lake. So,
Okay, which lake was this? Because I was on Google Maps and I could not find a lake that looked big enough to water ski on.
it's called Lake Nineveh.
Okay, that's the one I looked up.
Okay.
Super long and skinny.
Super long and skinny. So there's probably less than 20 houses. Just like a private dugout man-made ski lake, and people ski there.
And it's big enough to ski on.
It is.
Okay.
I wouldn't say, if you brought a wakeboard boat up there now, I don't know how it would go.
Wouldn't be, is there enough room to get on plane?
I mean, my mom thinks no. I think yes.
Do they still live there? Same place?
They do. And they're kind of in Florida in the winters a bit more now, my parents, but we still have the same house up in Chicago.
Okay. Before wakeboarding, what'd you grow up doing?
Every sport ever. I've pretty much have played everything besides soccer.
Okay.
But volleyball was probably the main focus as I got older before I started wakeboarding. I played, grade school, high school, club. I did a USA high performance volleyball camp, pretty serious volleyball stuff.
Okay. So big into it.
Big into it. I was a libero because I never grew past 5'3".
A what?
A libero, which
Is that a position?
It is a position. It means you are stuck in the back row. You never get to hit. You just have to pass.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I wasn't tall enough. But yeah, volleyball I would say was the main focus.
Okay. And then, did you do any snowboarding or any boating at all growing up?
Yeah, we me and my brother are luckily blessed with, I know some people, just the ability to kind of be able to pick things up. It's super cool, super fortunate that we both had that to share. So yeah, we did a lot of snowboarding and a lot of, we tried wakeboarding. I couldn't get up. My brother got up before me. I didn't like it because I fell over a lot, so that's not fun, but mostly we wanted to go tubing.
Big tubers. Okay.
Big tubers. So we would run down, whenever our neighbors took their boat out, we would run down to the beach and be like, can you pick us up?
And this is on that lake?
This is on Lake Nineveh, yeah.
Okay.
But we going back to snowboarding, we would take some family trips to Colorado and just go do it for a week and then leave it. But
not something you did on a regular basis.
No, not something we did on a regular basis.
Midwest snowboarding is a different animal.
It is.
So you guys didn't have a boat on that lake?
Not until, so we moved there when I was 6. I'd say we didn't get a boat until I was 12
Okay.
or 13.
What was that boat?
I think the first one we had was an old Malibu ski boat.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, for tubing. Yeah.
Okay, so when was your first time? Did you start skiing before, or was it right into wakeboarding after tubing?
Pretty much right into wakeboarding.
Okay, what was that first, what was the catalyst for wakeboarding?
I wanted to be a professional surfer.
Okay.
And I told my mom that, and she said, no, you live in Illinois. Are you crazy? So I think wakeboarding was maybe the next best thing. It was different, everyone else, nobody really thought that was something you could do seriously, especially growing up. And a lot of wakeboarders actually do come from where I came from, so it's random that people don't think that it can be a real thing. But so it was different than the normal high school life or the volleyball path or anything else. It just was kind of unique. It gave you a opportunity to do something different to what you were used to. And I mean, especially then in like 2010s, it was still pretty sick wakeboarding.
Yeah.
I mean, wakeboarding is sick, but you know what I mean.
It was still pretty big.
It was big. It was like we watched it on TV. Like I remember we would watch like Megan or Daniel or whoever. Like my mom would be like, "Look, they're on TV wakeboarding," you know. And so it was just that superstar sport that you could go do. And I love that moment of, look at me, I'm strapped in. This is my third drop. Like this is the moment, you know.
Yeah.
And it was one of those sports. So
You said so. I know Megan is from pretty close to where you grew up.
Like 10 minutes.
So weird because there's not like there's a lot of lakes.
No,
and like the boating community is huge there.
It's so, we always talk about that. Our towns are so close together that they like have a blended name for them. Like
Really?
I grew up in Minooka, she grew up in Shanahan, but like it's Chinooka.
Oh.
Yeah. Weird.
It's that small that they're just.
It's that small
combined
that
the two.
they're actually like.
That's wild. That you're both from that same area.
And didn't know each other until I moved here.
How much older is she than you?
A year.
Oh, so pretty close.
Yeah.
Interesting. She, how long? Well, I guess when did you move away? Kind of skipping ahead, but out.
In between sophomore and junior year high school. So
Okay.
16.
But she was probably.
She was already
way
here.
gone before.
And
that.
I didn't go to school in Minooka or Shanahan. I went to a private school.
Okay.
So I never crossed paths with her in school.
Gotcha. Before we talk about moving to Orlando,
Yeah.
what age would you say you started wakeboarding?
I would say I probably tried it when I was like 11 or 12.
Okay.
But then I didn't start really wanting to do it until like 13, 14. And I went to a summer camp called Water Monkey Wake Camp. Love that place. And I learned a tantrum and a 360. And I came back and was like, I'm so good at wakeboarding. I'm going to be the best ever. Mom, can I be a wakeboarder now? And bless my parents. They're amazing. They're so supportive and so generous in anything we want to do. And they were like, to a 15-year-old, yeah, we'll do that. We'll move to Florida. Like, all right.
Wild.
Crazy.
So you were only riding a couple years.
Yeah, that's the thing is I was not good. And they were like, they were like, yeah, we'll do it. Don't worry. We got it. Yeah. When we moved to Florida, I probably had only been riding for maybe 2 to 3 years.
Behind the ski boat?
I know that we got a different boat. I don't know. There was a lot of boats until we finally worked our way up to the first like actual wake boat that we got. But yeah, it's crazy to think now. I think I also came when I was 15, still living in Chicago. I would come down to Orlando a lot. We always did come to Orlando because we're a Disney family, and every year in my life we went to Disney. So we would sometimes go to OWC and wakeboard, you know, because you can see it off 528 when you're a tourist. It looks cool. But yeah, I started coming down, and I did a lesson with Sean Murray. And you know, when someone like Sean Murray tells your dad that she's got it, you know, she should keep doing it, your dad takes it seriously. Yeah.
That's a big name saying that.
Yeah. So he was, that sold my dad. But I think right before that, we had set up everything to come here and ride with Sean. I think I rolled a dune buggy.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Okay. I feel like my brain is like so scattered, but that's kind of the catalyst moment of I'm picking wakeboarding. I was at our house in Chicago. We had an empty lot and we had a dune buggy. And me and my best friend at the time were just cruising, and it had been, I feel like it had been wet and then it was really dry. I don't know. But I went to drift down a hill. As we all know, that doesn't work. So we rolled and I stuck my arm out because, yeah, Superwoman, I'm going to stop us from flipping. Doing everything wrong that you can do wrong whilst driving a dune buggy. So stuck my arm out. It ended up like over the roll bar, like, and I could see my hand over here. And I remember looking at my fingers and being like, whose hand is that? Like, and I touched it, and it was the weirdest. Oh my God, it was the weirdest. So naturally, when my dad is so rowdy, he's like, oh my gosh, we have this plan. You're going to Florida. You're riding with Sean. Blah, blah, blah. And it was fine. Didn't break anything.
Wow.
It was, yeah, didn't break anything.
So you are Superwoman. You didn't break.
I don't know what happened, but it was like disgusting. I remember going to high school being like, look how cool.
Oh, all bruised and stuff.
Like, yeah. But I couldn't play volleyball, and volleyball tryouts were happening right then. And my coach of like years was like, yeah, well, we're just going to put you like down on the second team. But then we'll move you back. I was like, I played on your team, your first team for like ever. So I pretty much called her and was like, yeah, I quit. And then, then the thing, we went down and Sean told my dad, you know, she's got potential. And so it went from there.
So when you go to OWC, are you just riding boat then down there?
Once I started coming for actual wakeboarding and not just on vacation, I would do both. I'd be that person who takes a boat set at OWC while everyone's riding the cable, but hating you.
Those first few times you were just going down for the boat.
No, I rode cable too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Gotcha.
I did. Yeah, I did them both. But I didn't take lessons on the cable.
You didn't take any lessons there? I don't think you really need lessons on the cable, to be honest.
That's why I liked cable more when I first started.
Just freedom.
Yeah, freedom. And I'm so thankful that I did take lessons. I did some with Sean and then ended up riding with Darren Shapiro for like a year. Every day after school, I would drive out to Darren's pretty much. And it was hard. Like, it was hard work. Like, he didn't let me do a wake jump for probably months, you know, or he let me do wake jumps, but I could do, like I said, a tantrum, a toe 3, heel 3, maybe like a front roll or something. I didn't get to do any of that.
Fundamentals.
We went back. I remember I would do surface 180s, backside 180s, inside out, ollie. Like, that's why I can land blind. Like, Darren and cable, like, that's why those blind landings, because I'm telling you, but I would go to Darren's, and I'm so thankful for it now, like I said, but I would just want to go to the cable. So I would ride at Darren's, and then I would rush to OWC, and, you know, because that's where you could do what you wanted. That's where your friends were. And we had a great group at OWC when I first moved here.
Who was in that group?
Oh, gosh, there were so many of us, and a lot of, like, it was when Gunther had just moved here too. I remember the Whirls. They were riding behind them. Like, you know, like the Cohens were still here. Like, there were so many people that you could just ride behind and learn.
Yeah.
Like, that was all I did, is I would just go up behind any of them, and they would dumb it down a little bit to my skill level and, you know, gradually build up. But I think a lot of what I learned comes down. I mean, John was there, Taylor, Jake. Like, we had such a big group of people. Tim would always film. Like, it was
big squad.
We had a squad, and it was good. I feel like if I'm missing anyone, I'm sorry, but
I mean, so I do want to talk about moving down here. So your parents said, you're like, hey, I want to be a wakeboarder, and they're like, okay, we're going to Florida. Like, what are the logistics of that?
Okay. Like I said, my parents are amazing. So when I was in my sophomore year, so 15, we would come kind of every week, not every weekend, but most weekends, at least once a month. And then they found a place to rent kind of by the airport on Lake George in Orlando, kind of a small lake. Nobody else, like wakeboarder, lived on it. So they rented a house and they said, look, we'll try it. We'll go down the summer in between sophomore, junior year. We'll try it. And yeah, they just rented a house. And my brother was able to come with us that first summer, but he couldn't fully move to Florida because he plays hockey.
We'll talk about him in a little bit.
Okay, yeah, well, he'll have his feature. Yeah, okay. So the hockey thing is what stopped the whole family from moving to Florida. So my parents, they split time. Like, my mom would be with me for 2 weeks and would go back, and my dad would come down. And I can't imagine what it was like for them, especially because I probably was like, Mom, go away. Like, I'm doing my own cool thing now. But yeah, so we rented a house for a year, signed up, started going to high school out here. I went to Lake Highland Preparatory School.
Wow. Is this in person?
It was in person.
Okay.
So my first 2 years here, I went to high school. My junior year was a normal school. Like, I went from 8 to 3, whatever school hours are. And then my senior year, it was awesome. I went to school for like 3 hours a day. Like, Lake Highland, they hooked it up. Like, in my junior year, they let me leave for like a month and a half before finals. And then I came back early from my trip to Thailand and was like, I'm here to take my final. And my teacher was like, just take it after Christmas. I was like, really? Like, it was awesome. So the high school that we found really worked out. And then after renting for a year, my parents found a place to buy in Lake Holden. And then we moved into there, and I'm still living in the same spot.
So couple things there. Did you have a boat on Lake George?
We did. So when we moved, I believe we had the 210 or the 230.
Okay.
I think it was, I don't know. It was one of those.
Did you bring it down from?
We did.
Okay.
So that was the last boat that we bought in Chicago. So we went from like, I think we had three. I think we had like ski boat, better ski boat, 210, 230. I don't remember which one it was. That boat, like, we brought it down to Florida, and I don't know what I'm doing when I'm waiting a boat. But then I had friends come over and ride, right? And they finally got it perfect. And I remember my dad was trying to be really nice, and he came and he put a lot of gas in it one day. And he did something. He moved shit around, and it like totally threw off the wake. And it made him so mad, and then we bought a G.
Oh, you bought a G?
Yeah, he bought a G.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, my parents, if you wanted, the generosity is next level.
Yeah.
Without them, obviously, I wouldn't be able to do maybe cable, but definitely not boat, because boat, it takes parents or people who are willing to put in time and effort for you to chase that dream, because
there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. And especially in my case, or anyone's case, moving from another country to come here, state.
Like sometimes it can feel like a different country.
It's
cold.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a different country.
Okay, so moving down here at what, you're 15, 16?
Yeah.
Is that hard, changing high schools? And
For me, it wasn't at all.
Really?
I remember me and my cousin were in the same grade, always in Chicago. And he actually moved to Orlando like a year ago. So, ta-da, he came. But he asked me, aren't you going to miss everybody? Like, aren't you sad leaving? And not at all. It was not hard. It was everything I wanted. I was already feeling like I was here before I was here.
Interesting.
Yeah. I liked my high school, but it was so your typical Midwest Catholic school. It just didn't suit me, I don't think. And to know that at 15, like, wow, people were probably like, okay, she's crazy. She'll be back in a year. But no, it wasn't even a question. Like, I was sitting in high school, like in Chicago, showing them like, look at, this is my new friend, or this is what I'm doing. Like, I was already moved on before I even moved.
Okay. Interesting. You were all in.
All in.
Right away.
That's kind of like how I am. Very much like, I'm going to do this.
You do it.
And I do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were there anyone, younger years, was there anyone you were looking up to, like watching videos that?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't get as much into the wake history as I should have. I kind of just almost didn't want to look at other people because I didn't think I could be as good as them, or didn't want to like see what they were doing and just wanted to do my own thing, kind of.
No, totally. Yeah.
I don't know if that like makes sense. And now I'm trying to like reappreciate all my elders, because some of the things, like the first 5, oh no, I just hit the table really hard with my finger. The first few years on Ronix, like I didn't know the greatness of Rock and Chatty and Danny and Peeves. Like, like my dad's like, holy shit, Parks Bonifay. I'm like, yeah, he has a Red Bull hat. I guess that's cool. So looking up to people, definitely, I think I watched Meg's like Welcome to the Liquid Force team video a lot.
When she was a little Grom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, wow. And I do remember one time Sophie Hogman did like a nose press just all the way across, like nose press back, like nollie back one off a flat bar. And I was like, wow, Mom, I'll never be as good as her. And my mom was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you can do that. I'm like, but you don't know how hard that is.
She made it look so good.
She made it look so good. So I guess it was more like there wasn't anyone that was a big name that I looked up to, because you're jumping into a world that you don't know anybody. Like, I had no background of wakeboarding. I mean, I knew Megan because I saw her ride at OWC, and that was probably it.
There's nothing wrong with that, honestly.
Yeah, and it was crazy, but I think all the people that I was surrounded with when I first moved here, they were the people I looked up to because they were good at wakeboarding. Okay,
so when you first move here, how do you get those relationships with? Is it OWC?
Just, hi, I'm Jamie. Just walk up. It was so weird. I wasn't that kind of person in Chicago, and then when I moved out here, I was way more comfortable
In your element.
in my element,
Yeah.
confident, like just walk up to people, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. You know, and I think just going to OWC and like being present, that was huge. Like doing points chase. I mean, I used to compete against Gavin and Trent, you know, when they were tiny. I think I met Gavin when he was like 3 or 4, which is
Wow.
crazy. I know. So they were there too. Like this, I totally forgot to mention the Stuggies because they were that young, but they were kind of, everyone was very welcoming at OWC. And like if you look, I'm sure you saw that picture that I think Tim posted a couple weeks ago, was like the 2014-2015 OWC points chase team.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look at it, you're like, wow, all those people,
They're still in it.
they're still in
Yeah.
it and they're still like doing good. So that's what we had at OWC. So how could you not meet people if you went there and actually wanted to learn? And like John taught me how to do like 7 inverts in a day because I would just be like, all right, I'll do it. It's fine.
So it's pretty easy to make relationships. I guess when you're there all the time, everybody else is there all the time. It just becomes
maybe at the start they're like, oh, who's this girl? Like she's kind of
it's a Midwest girl.
yeah,
What's she doing
she's
down
really
here?
but eventually they warm up to you.
Okay, so let's talk contests
Okay.
because would you consider yourself a contest rider? I mean, you do a lot of contests.
I do a lot of contests.
And you do well in a lot of contests.
Yeah.
You could say yeah.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a contest rider?
I would say yes, but I don't want that to like be the defining thing that I do. I think comps keep you relevant. And honestly, I used to love competing when I was younger. When I first started wakeboarding, I loved contests because nothing to lose, right? You're the newcomer, like people don't want to lose to you. And everyone's cheering for you when you're the underdog.
Yeah.
And you can feel that. Like when I was first competing, like that first Triple Crown that I won, everybody wanted me to win. You know what
That's
I mean? Because not the people I was competing against, but the other people. And you can feel that. But then once you start winning, they don't want you to win anymore.
It's a
And you can feel that too.
story as old as time.
You can feel that too. So especially in an individual sport, you know when people want you to fall or people don't want you to win any. Like it's crazy. So
let's talk about 2015, were you doing any contests before that?
I was probably doing juniors I don't think I rode, so cable and boat, I was still riding both, but I rode pro in cable first. And then boat, I did junior women for 2 years. So I probably would have been competing in 2014.
Okay. What was the year you moved down here? Do you remember?
I think 2014. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So I graduated in 2016 high school. So it would have been 2014.
Okay.
So I would have competed that summer in junior women, maybe in like cable nationals for points chase.
Just a few though.
Just a few. It wasn't as I do remember that I did compete, but I couldn't tell you in what divisions or where or what events.
Nothing super memorable.
No.
2014.
No, I don't think so.
But 2015, this is wild to me so you moved down in 2014 and you hadn't wakeboarded a ton before that, right? Because you're in Illinois. So it's not like you have a boat in the backyard that you can ride year round or a cable. And then you win the second stop of the Vans Triple Crown. I mean, that's pretty wild.
It was awesome. I look back at the riding that I was doing there and I'm like, what? Where did it come from? Like I did switch and rag back 270s. I don't even want to do that now. Like I did one, like the regular back two that I did, it like was to like over wrap, or wrap or what. I don't even know what it's called. Like I didn't pass the handle, but I was like riding. I don't know. I don't know what came over me there. But again, it was that nothing to lose, just that fire. Like I love to compete then.
You seem to have a different mentality. I mean, when it comes to contests, at least like from the outside looking in, it's like you seem very nonchalant about how you approach contests. Is that true, or is that just like kind of putting on?
I am probably shitting myself. Let's be honest. Like competing is, it's crazy. So I feel like competing goes in waves, right? When I first started, I had a really good wave of competing because I didn't care. It was whatever. And then, stuff happens, which I'm sure we'll cover later. And then you go down. You don't compete as good. and then you come back up. I mean, so I feel like I had like a peak and then a down and then a peak, and now I'm kind of on the peak maybe. Like this year didn't really feel like it went as well, but I am a little nonchalant with contests, and I think I should be a little bit more prepared, like mentally when because especially in a boat comp, I feel like I get there and then, oh my God, all of a sudden I'm riding. Like it just happens so fast. But I try not to make it any different than any other ride than I have every day. Like when I ride at home, I wake up, do a little stretch, have a matcha, go to the boat, and ride. So if I make a big deal about a contest, does that make it
Changes your routine.
more stress? Like it changed. Yeah, exactly. So, but yes, I look nonchalant when I'm competing, but I'm actually so nervous. It never goes away. Like this last weekend at Team Challenge, I was freaking out before I rode, and everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, are you good? You're dramatic. I was like, no, this is how I feel. I'm so stressed. And I think when you haven't been competing as good, the stress gets bigger.
Yeah.
Because you are overthinking everything that you've done that's not been good this year, sort of thing. So, yes, nonchalant on the outside, freaking out on the inside.
Well, you cover it well, so that's
good. That's good.
So 2015, 2016, you do well at quite a few contests. I mean, you got some first places. Yeah. Are you getting any attention from any sponsors? I mean, was Ronix your first?
Ronix was my only ever board sponsor.
Okay.
When I first moved down, I bought Hyperlight boards because I was at OWC. They had them there. And my dad was like, perfect, get a boat one, get a cable one. I think I went out, and on the first or second time I took my new board out, my Hyperlight board, I transferred Henshaw and hit the corner and split. Like I ran into it. I didn't get my nose up and just split the whole nose. Oops, my bad. And then after that, I got a RAF, and I had that RAF forever. I really liked that board. And then I let Gunther ride it one time, and it broke.
Thanks, Gunther.
But I think it was already broken.
Okay.
Yeah. And by that point, I had started riding a Ronix boat board because I was riding with Darren, and he would give me his old codes. I think that's what it was called, code, pretty sure.
Fact check that.
Yeah, fact check it. So after the RAF broke, I think someone gave me like a hand-me-down Von Vidal Schnook, and that was my first Ronix cable board. And then I remember being in Colorado with my family. We were on a ski trip, and Mike Ferraro texts me or emails me. I think he texts me, check your email or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was like me getting invited to go out to Lake Ronix and come ride in the next day or two. But I'm in Colorado, so naturally I'm like, oh my God, Mom, do we go home? My mom was like, we can get a flight tonight, just to go to Lake Ronix the first time, But back then when I was a Grom, Lake Ronix was this mystical place that was amazing, and you didn't get to go to unless you made it, And I remember being at OWC, people would be like, oh, Lake Ronix, and so it was a big deal. And I was like, oh my God, I can go home. And they were like, no, it's cool. I think actually that text might have come from Jake, because Jake is the one who I think pretty much helped me get on Ronix.
Jake's pulling some strings behind the scenes here, is what I'm hearing.
He, I think they needed someone to ride on the product shoot, another.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Another girl
for a product shoot.
And he was like, well, this girl is at OWC. She's not that bad, so we could maybe use her. So then, of course, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go.
My chance.
So then we didn't go home, and then I don't think I got invited again for another couple weeks once we got back to Orlando. And the first time I went out there, I think it was Jake, Chad, Mike, maybe. I feel like that was who it was. And I just rode the front leg.
The dealer cable?
Yes, but it was back when it was in a different spot.
Where
the wall was.
Yeah.
And I just rode that, and it was I'm sure I rode great because, the adrenaline, this is awesome. And then we would do anything we could to be out there more. You would pick weeds, or you would paint rails. I do a lot of painting when I'm out there. That's my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's calming.
Yeah. Well, it's just easier than the angle grinders and those things.
Moving big stuff around too.
Yeah.
Building rails.
But yeah, they were my first real sponsor.
So how's that snowball from like just getting invited out there to eventually like being on the team?
It happened like that.
Really?
So fast. I think I was really fortunate in that they did need a girl. And I was in Orlando. I was local. So I could be, and I was young. I could be there. I would do anything to be there. So it pretty much went, come to Lake Ronix, ride on the product shoot. Hey, order your stuff through this factory. Like I never had to go through a rep, which is now I realize that's
skipping steps.
That's really
steps.
Cool. So it happened so fast. And I've always felt really fortunate for the Ronix family. Like that, I know but it is. It's a family. And especially because I was so young when I first came around and didn't know anything, didn't know. It was almost probably better that I didn't know who I was hanging out with all the time.
Weren't nervous or anything?
I just was like, this is awesome. Like all I cared about was Lake Ronix, So they were always very open to me being around, so helpful, very just inclusive. And I never felt out of place there from day one. Everybody, it almost wasn't even as if I was like a girl. Like it was like, yeah, you rip, come ride. So I'm just really thankful for that. That was a great place for me to have my roots based throughout my wakeboard career.
So before we kind of move on to some more sponsors and stuff, let's go back to contests, because in this time frame, you go to Japan for Worlds in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I was talking about the peaks of competing and the lows. Okay. So that's 2018.
Yeah.
Wow. Feels like
I think so. Yeah.
Must have been. Makes sense. So that was back when we still had a lot of boat events. There was the Nautique series, and Malibu was doing a series as well. So you had like 7 or 8 events, and then they all, finished for the title. And I was winning for so long, the overall. And we were going to Japan for the last stop. And it was hurricaning here in Florida. So that wasn't good, because everyone was like, oh my God, what do we do? Like I had to leave. My mom always makes me leave for hurricanes back to Chicago, So I flew, she got me out of the hurricane. So then I wasn't riding, and I flew to Chicago and rode on the river there, which was like super random because I've never done that before.
What river?
I have in Kankakee probably.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Super strange. And then I flew to Japan, but we were flying into a typhoon. So we left a hurricane to fly into a typhoon, and I think I missed my flight. Like it was just not going well. But I remember my dad really telling me, all you have to do is like not take last in your semifinal and you win the overall. That's a pretty easy feat, right?
So how many people are we talking in this contest to not take last against?
In my heat, I think there were probably like 3 or 4 heats of 4 or 5 like people. It was a pretty decent turnout.
Okay, so you just got to get third in your heat?
In my first heat, as long as I didn't, I'm pretty sure what it was is as long as I didn't, like, 'cause we only had 2 rounds probably. So as long as, if I made it through to the second round, I was good.
You're good. Okay.
But I also could take third in my heat and not make it through and be okay. I just couldn't take worse than that. And I took worse than that. And I just remember falling the second time and being like, what just happened? Like that feeling, that was my first major loss, like my first big letdown by wakeboarding. And I just could not handle it. I was like, this is horrible. This feeling, like even like talking about it now, like that feeling. And Taylor ended up winning the overall, and she went out after me and like freaking killed it. But I ended up losing 2 because we didn't run the second day of the contest. I lost on a technicality in the rule book.
Because of typhoon? Because
of typhoon. So we went all the way there, only rode 1 day. Didn't get to finish the second. So who knows what would have happened if maybe it still could have worked out if Taylor came, if she didn't ride good the second day. Or, I mean, she still rode good all season, so deserved for sure. But it was just crazy that it came down to, oh, well, we're going to go off the rule book on this one. So all that whole year comes down to, this is what the paper says, so this is what we're doing.
So what's the technicality of that?
I have no idea what the technicality is, but it was like by a point or two. Like
Yikes.
it sucked. Yeah.
So the first day, I guess I'm just trying to figure out how this contest worked, because the first day it's heats and then you move on to the second day, or you ride both days no matter what?
No. So you normally in a boat comp, that's 2 days, and the first round is normally Saturday. And then if you make it through the first round, you ride in finals on Sunday. So normally we just go semis, finals.
Yeah.
So there probably would have been 4 heats of 4 or something, top 2 go through, and then an 8-person final.
For Taylor to win, she rode well on the first day.
Yeah.
Then the second day was a technicality that basically gave her, I'm not going to say gave her the win.
No, because she was like right with me all season.
But if she rode that second day and maybe didn't
And
throw down super well.
I don't know what would have happened.
Okay.
Like if she would have come last in the final, she would have only been a few places above me.
Okay.
And I don't know. I didn't want to look and see what would have happened if that was the case, right? Because at that point I was
There's
like,
nothing
I
you
don't
can do
want to
about
know. I'm over it. Like,
Yeah.
but it did suck that it came down to just not ride. But it was more just stupid because the whole thing was stupid. It felt like, do you know what I mean? Like let's fly to a typhoon and compete, and we only rode, like, that's not cheap to go over there. But whatever the case, it just really, it was
Bad spot
for me. And then I think after that, competition wise, I kind of didn't really have as much mojo or mental clarity about contests, because up until then it was pretty like, pretty good at this, like whatever, like, oh, I might win, but maybe I'll come like 5th. That's okay. Like I'm pretty happy with just being in the final. Like it was just, it wasn't a thought. Like
Yeah.
it just was what it was. And I still had a fire to want to be the best, you know?
So 2018, obviously that was a rough ending to the year, but is it still just Ronix that you're riding for at that point?
I think so.
Okay. And paying your own way to get to contests?
At this point, mom and dad were still helping out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
in the sense of like...
In the sense of, yeah, I wasn't, I probably had like a salary from Ronix, but it wouldn't have been anything like crazy.
Yeah. So when you're saying that's a lot of added pressure when you go all the way to Japan to ride in Worlds, a lot of money it costs to get there, your parents are helping you out, and then that happens, it's probably kind of a big kick in the gut.
It's definitely a bummer because you feel like you're letting everybody down.
Yeah.
Like, and I've always understood what it means to pay for things. Yeah. I never took the mom and dad paying for my way for granted. I understood what they were spending, that it costs money, that it's not cheap. So because I always appreciated the effort that they were making, I definitely doubled the pressure a little bit on myself, just in that sense, because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
And
they're doing a lot.
They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot to help me out. Yeah.
Let's talk about a positive note contest. You landed the first heel 7 at Moomba Masters.
Yeah.
Going forward, is that kind of, you can put down safe runs. Like a lot of people can put down a safe run. But to try and do tricks that progress the riding takes a little bit of extra oomph. So, I mean, because you don't have to, right? Like, no, I don't know in that contest, I didn't watch the whole thing back, but I don't know, did you have to?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to do, though.
So why? Why is that?
Well, I think coming into this year, all I wanted to do was land new stuff and progress the sport. And that was my only really goal, because the last 2 years actually went really well competition-wise. So I was pretty like, all right, I think I can focus on maybe landing some new stuff. And at that point, come Moomba, like I had been riding so much boat over the winter. Like, I felt so good. Like, you know, when you go out and everything just clicks, it makes sense. Like, and it's only you that really, to people in the boat, it might look the same when you're not clicking and when you are clicking, because you're still landing your tricks and it still probably looks good to them, but it's different for you. Like, you know, when everything just works, and it was just working. And I was probably landing heel 7 every time, like not even thinking about it. And so all I wanted to do at Moomba was make it through the first round so that I could do a heel 7. And I got so hyped up about it and so hyper-focused And it gave me like a purpose for that event, and it worked, you know? And I got fortunate too that I ended up coming in third. I only had 4 or 5 tricks, but I guess with a heel 7, it kind of
NBD in a contest
kind of
helps out
helps.
a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of helps. But I think it was more of a curse than a blessing.
How so?
Because the rest of this year, I haven't had a clue what to do when I compete, because I feel like that's what's expected of me now.
The heel 7?
The heel 7.
That level
or
of riding?
the cab 7 or the back 5. Like, it's almost like I feel like if I go out and do my normal contest run with normal women's contest tricks, it's like, and then
Jamie's capable of more.
it is. And then like, for me, I don't know what to do. I'm like, do I do and then I get super confused. I'm like, do I do the heel 7? Do I do a heel 5? Like, I don't know. So then the last couple both Masters and Nationals, I've blew it because I can't decide. I'm deciding
Just go for the 7.
Okay, yes, go for the 7. And that's what I did. And Nationals, when everybody told me I didn't need it, and then I fell, and then I didn't make it through. So I'm out. I didn't make finals. So just going for the 7 is what I want to do.
We'll just land the 7.
That's the goal. But it's like, what I want to do is go for those bigger tricks. But I thought I was willing to sacrifice contest results, but I don't think I am.
Well, so it's tough to.
It's really confusing.
Because contests are a game, right? Like, you have to play the game.
You have to, and that I'm pretty good at knowing what I need to do to go through. But I kind of thought I was going to land it because I've been riding pretty good at Nationals, before Nationals, and I was like, oh, it'll be fine. And no, I don't know.
Well, conditions are always typically a little bit worse
for sure.
in contests. So
for sure.
It doesn't help.
But
let's talk about cable contest.
Yeah.
Worlds in Dubai. I don't remember what year this was. It was a while back.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty early. I mean,
this is early.
17, 18?
I would have been young. 17.
When did you crash in that run?
Oh my God, first hit, and then I think I got up and did the same thing. Is that what happened? Yeah. So I think everybody has this experience when they start wakeboarding. I mean, most people that I know have had a similar experience, but maybe not everybody. I think that was my first international pro cable contest, so I'm excited, you know. And yeah, went out, crashed, got up for my second run, crashed. Like, didn't even make it around Tower 1. Horrible, brutal, like, so sad. Do you know what I mean? So
came a long way. Dubai's
so
pretty far.
Heartbroken. And again, like, my mom came with me, and she put in all that effort, and I did horrible. And you know, the same thing happened in my first pro boat contest.
Really?
Got up, fell first trick, got up, fell again.
You remember what the trick was?
Probably a tantrum. Something I could do now, like, but it happened both times. Both first big pro events, like, just.
I might just give up after that, honestly. Glad you didn't, but
yeah, no,
that's
but
gotta be.
It's but I've seen that happen to some, like, Groms coming up, and I'll always just be like, you know what happened to me? Same exact thing. It happens.
Well, it's like, yeah, when you see people at the cable, like, their first time, and they're super nervous, and they're like, oh, I'm good. I fell off the dock. Like, most people fall off the dock or in the first corner.
And, like, that's okay. I think we have such a stigma or whatever about falling. And
falling's good.
It's good. Like, I don't care if you fall. Like, I think I've been very fortunate in the people that I ride with are also cool with me falling. They're cool with me trying stuff. They're not going to put me down for coming out and falling 10 times. And I don't know if everyone feels that when they go ride in groups of people. But like I said, I've always been fortunate, and everyone around me is like, try again. You got it.
Yeah.
So
it's good to have people like that.
Yeah, we need that.
The setup at Worlds in Dubai, rank that scale 1 to 10.
Oh,
you remember the setup?
I don't even remember.
It had like 6 boxes and 2 kickers.
Oh.
And then a bunch of empty space. So I'm going to rank it as a 1. It sucked.
Okay, that's fair.
You didn't make it around, I guess.
I don't, yeah, it doesn't matter. I didn't make it around, so I don't even know what the setup was.
So we're talking about ups and downs in contests. Mm-hmm. And you said, after Japan in 2018, it was kind of
a downer,
a little decline in contests. And then COVID happened.
Oh, COVID.
So where were you at mentally when it came to wakeboarding in like 2020?
I was over it. The thing about jumping in and doing things like I'm doing this is it's also very easy to jump out and I'm done. And I think growing up, I played every sport because I'm going to do this. Oh, I quit. I'm going to do this. I quit. Like I quit gymnastics. I quit basketball. I quit cheerleading. I quit. Like when I'm over it, I'm over it. And that's probably not a great trait to have when something is actually your career and you've spent 7 years building it and then I'm over it. I'm done. Doesn't feel right. So 2020, I graduated high school in 2016 and I graduated from UCF in 2019. And then 2020, I actually started taking pre-med classes through UCLA because I couldn't take the pre-med when I was at UCF because it was science and I actually had a B on campus and I was traveling for wakeboarding. So I did most of my classes online. So yeah, I started doing like all my chemistry, my bio, hate physics, but I liked the chemistry is my favorite. And I was in Australia when COVID happened, 2020. We were at Bli. And so that would have been March. Yeah. I rode.
Right when it happened.
Yeah. So I rode in Moomba right before COVID happened. And I remember being like, oh my God, like I left the comp early. Like I flew back to the sunny coast to be with Jack on my birthday. I was like, my birthday is always at Moomba, which is stupid. Everyone's like, that's so cool. You get to have your birthday at a wakeboard contest. I'm like, no. Or in Australia. They're like, that's cool. I'm like, no, because it's always when I'm wakeboarding. Like it's like the first big event of the year. Like no one wants to party with you.
Yeah.
Like I turned every year from 19 to 25 pretty much. I turned a year older at Moomba. Which is crazy.
Did you win any of them?
No. Never.
Okay, so. Yeah, that's why it's probably not great.
Yeah, that's why it's not great. Anyway, going back to COVID. So I rode in the Moomba pre-COVID and I was like, that's my last boat contest ever. I was like, I was like, I'm probably never even going to come back here. Like, I remember all my friends were there. Like, and I just looked at them and was like, I'm out. I have to leave. I'm sorry. So I booked a flight back to the coast early and then, applied to schools. COVID happened. I went back home to Chicago. My mom was like, just come to Chicago for a week and then we'll get you a flight to Florida. That didn't happen. I stayed in Chicago for 3 months when COVID first happened and just started doing school.
So you still have the place in Florida, obviously.
Still have the place in Florida.
But you didn't go down to Florida at all during COVID?
No.
I guess I don't know what traveling was like then. But.
No, but my mom was like, no, you're staying here.
Yeah.
So I didn't come to Florida at all, which Florida sounded like the place to be. That first couple months in COVID, Definitely. Everyone was just chilling on the boat, like whatever, no big deal. But again, I didn't want to wakeboard. I told my dad, you can sell the house, you can sell the boat. I'm over it. Doing school. And I actually ended up going out to England that summer to be with Jack. And again, like just did school, just working the whole time. And I love school. Like I was a huge nerd. Still am. Like if I'm not wakeboarding, I'm probably reading a book or something, So, but I was over it. I wanted nothing, which sucks because I think there were a lot of opportunities that maybe I could have seized in that time when I didn't take it. I mean, it had been the year or two before COVID as well that I wasn't really into it. I was playing volleyball in the winters, not riding every day. I was not giving it the focus that I wish now that I would have, because I think I could have accomplished a lot more and maybe got more sponsors or just...
Do you think you were just burnt out with riding in general, or was it contest kind of rubbed you the wrong way a little bit?
Contest rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't feel like I had a place, kind of. I would see other people post on Instagram and whatever and get all this hype or whatnot, and I just never felt like I was doing anything that was that good, kind of. I don't know. In that time period, so many other people were coming up and killing it. Like the girls' wakeboard scene like boomed. Do you know what I mean? Which was awesome to be a part of, but you also feel like you lose your place a little bit and you don't know where to fit in or if you're really needed. Like when other people are winning Riders of the Year and this and that, and you're not even like nominated or anything. Like it just, I don't know. But it was because I wasn't riding. That's why I wasn't getting the hype that I thought I deserved maybe then. But how can you get it when you're not actually riding? So, but yeah, that was kind of where I was at. So mentally with wakeboarding through COVID, over it. Jack, obsessed with wakeboarding, right? So I'm trying to transition out and do my school thing. I'm like, I'm going to move to California. I'm going to study, whatever. And he's like, but like wakeboarding though.
So Jack Constable, for those who don't know,
sorry.
great wakeboarder. His brother's Alfie, right?
Yeah, Alfie, Harry, Millie. There's 4 of them.
There's a lot of them. Okay.
There's a lot of them.
Anyways, did you guys start dating in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you guys are together at this time.
We're together. So we never really. I don't know when I met him. I couldn't tell you. But in Australia, yeah, he was doing a season at Bli Bli. I had done a season the year before. I went out to visit because some of my friends were there. Like, I've always gone to Australia. I really like it there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, he was just working there, and I definitely was the one who went for it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it took him like a few days to realize what was going on. Yeah. But I was like, dude, hello.
Pay attention to me, man. Come on.
But yeah, we went out for a friend's birthday, and that was it.
Okay, so you guys are dating, and then I guess, where is he when you're in America doing this?
He went back to England.
Okay.
So we were together for like a month and a half when we first started dating, and then immediately just him to England, me to America, because COVID. Nobody knows what's going on. It's scary. Like, we were in Sydney before we flew home, and Jack and I were at this nice hotel, and a plane flew in the sky and did the smoke writing, and it said "wash hands." That's when we knew it was serious. We were like, oh, we're in for some shit. Like, so they flew home, I flew home, and then, so he's in England and I'm in America. And then I went out to England, and they are just building their full-size cable. So like I watched a whole cable go up. I helped, like, we built the rails. I watched them put the towers up. Like, it was a really cool experience to be a part of something like that, because we just rock up to cables and they're there, right?
Yeah.
And if you've never seen one built, you don't know what goes into it. And they live in England. It rains all the time, right? Their lake wouldn't fill because it wasn't raining. Like, they didn't have water in England. It was like, how can this be a problem for you right now? So all those little things that you don't realize.
A lot of problems when you build a cable.
A lot of problems when you build a cable. God.
So before you go out there, you're in school and you're pretty much done with wakeboarding, and you're talking to Jack. What's he say? Is he like, hey, you should come visit for a little bit? It's COVID.
No, he's like, Jack, bless his soul. He's like, whatever you want to do, you do it. Like, you crazy. So just whatever. I was like, you know that I want to move. Like, A, I'm not going to live in England. B, I'm going to move to California and study medicine. He was like, all right, I'm down for that. I was like, okay. He's probably pretty thankful that I did not do that. But even when I was in England that summer with him and we would wakeboard, like, I hated it. I had the worst time ever. And like, just helmet throw. I don't want to do this. And for them, wakeboarding is something they do together as a family, and it's really fun. So every time we would go ride, everybody would ride too. And then I would feel like I had to be happy when I was not happy. And I didn't enjoy, I don't know. And I just, for some reason, it wasn't it. And I don't think I was happy because I just wasn't doing what I wanted to do. Like, COVID took away my life. Like, everything that, and yes, I was already kind of choosing to move out of my life, but COVID took it away before I was ready. Everything that you knew, wakeboarding, traveling, your friends, that lifestyle was gone. And I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened, because I was like, whoa, I actually don't know if I want it to be gone.
It was like ripping a Band-Aid off.
It was really quick, because I was starting school and I said I was over it, but I probably would have wakeboarded a bit more. And then, so COVID said, you're done, whether you like it or not, you know? And I didn't like it. I realized that I actually built a really cool life, and I wasn't ready to say goodbye to the people in my life or the way that I could live my life. So many things about wakeboarding that I actually did realize that I had been taking for granted. Like I said, a little bit of wasted time there, early 20s. But yeah, so after 2020, you know, Jack came to America and we rode boat like every day. Like he would go out on the worst days, like that winter, 2020 into 2021. He would be like, oh, it's only blowing like 15 miles an hour. Perfect. Let's go wakeboarding. I'm like, this guy's crazy. Like, no. But so we rode a lot. Like, and going into 2021, I actually, like I had stopped doing school. Like I did, so I probably did half my pre-med recs, getting the grades I needed. Like I had like a 4.2 or 3. Like I like school.
Smart person.
So I had the grades I needed, had the story I needed. I mean, you can milk the professional wakeboarder story, and a school is going to be like, yep, life experience, perfect. Let's take you. So put that on hold, the school thing. And then, just.
So what sparked that? I mean, was it in England when you were with him, or was it when you came back and you started riding boat a lot, or was it like a gradual?
I think it was a gradual thing.
Okay.
There was no moment where I was like, yes, I'm going to wakeboard again. It was kind of like, I don't really want to do this, what I'm doing right now, like the school not riding thing. And then I think 2021, I still wasn't overly stoked. There was no Moomba that year, I don't think.
So you could celebrate your birthday.
I did. I had a birthday in England. With Jack's whole family. We had a big dress up party. We all dressed up like pirates and got super drunk. It was awesome. It was great. So that was like my first normal birthday in forever. I forgot about that. Okay, so there was no Moomba. So I think the first event I went to that year would probably have been Lithuania, 313. And I think it was my first time going. So we all did the qualifier, me, Jack, and Alfie. And Alfie and I qualified, but Jack didn't. And I remember being so sad. Like, I think I was so sad that he didn't even get sad that he didn't qualify. I was a mess. And people were like, all my friends were like, why are you sad you qualified? And I'm like, Jack didn't make it. But then he ended up being able to ride in the contest because somebody else couldn't make it and he was like the next best person. So all good. But for me, that was my first contest in forever. So I'm stressing at the qualifier. And I hate round one of a contest. Like the earlier rounds when maybe you probably should go through if you do good, those are so hard because you just want to make it to the next round where you can do your harder stuff or your...
The beginning ones are a little bit more play it safe because the field's bigger.
Well, it's just the field's bigger and anything can happen. And like a lot of the times, like you're the person who, not to sound like, but you're the person who should go through.
I mean, you're a big name at this point.
You're the person who should go through. So you're like, oh my God, I should go through. Like, what if I don't go through? I don't know. But so Lithuania, I made it through the qualifier and I love that place. Oh my God. 313 is like, for wakeboarding, it's so much fun. Like everybody is there for a whole week, staying on site. There's something to do every night. Like the boys out there, they know how to put on an event. Like it's really cool.
Was this Wake Duel?
Wake Duel.
Okay.
Yeah, Wake Duel. So 2021 Wake Duel, I ended up coming second. That was awesome. You know, I haven't done good in an event in so long. And I'm like, wait, maybe I am still good at wakeboarding. You know, and the first day we got to 313, I was like, oh my God, I suck. I had never hit any of those features before. Like everything was new to me and it was really hard. I remember coming off the water and being like, babe, like I don't think I can do this. Like I rode so bad. And then and I think I lost to Claudia. That was the year where she just won like everything. Yeah. People did tell me it was a controversial loss.
Really?
I did hear that.
As in maybe you should have won? It was closer than...
I always hate doing that because I think that takes away from the person who did 100%. Win, and I never want to, like, do that. But word on the street was that. But, again, it's Claudia. Like, she rode...
She rips.
You can't deny the fact that she did something that was good enough to win. Like, 100%. But I didn't care. People were like, oh, well, did you, like, think about it? I'm like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about comparing the runs. Whatever. She won... They gave me second and best trick. 2 years in a row, I won the most progressive line there for a line that didn't win in the contest, which is super confusing. Like
that is because that contest is different, right? Because it's like you have sections that are judged?
So it's 2 out of 3 sections, and you just have to win best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the sections that I was given best most progressive line for or whatever were not the sections that won.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but that could just be me not knowing what exact section they gave it to me for. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But again, going back to 2021, like not taking away from Claudia, like she ripped that whole season, and I thought she won. So
well, and the thing is, like, even if it's close,
people are always going to say it could be either way.
You could say be either way, and it's like, well, if you just want to take the guesswork out of it, do a run that's not even close.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's what I say too. It's like if I didn't leave it in their minds that yes, I won 100%, that's on me.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're always going to go back and be like, I think I got screwed. That's everyone's reaction after you lose. I think I got screwed.
You're never going to go, when you put down a run, you're never going to go, okay, yeah, it wasn't quite good.
So it takes us a little bit to get to the point of, oh, okay, maybe they did win. You know, like if you go back and you watch the runs, you're like, okay, that's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 2021, you start off strong.
Yeah.
With the second place at Wake Duel. I hear a lot of people pronouncing it Wake Duel. What's up with that?
I don't know.
It's Wake Duel.
It's Wake Duel.
Okay. Glad we're on the same page. This is the year of Moxy Pro, right? 2021?
Yes, the year of Moxy Pro.
Okay. So first off, probably should be thankful that you got back into the contest scene.
Yeah.
Starting off strong with a second.
Yeah.
Run us through Moxy Pro for those who don't know what Moxy Pro was and just kind of everything about it.
So Moxy Pro was a girls-only event that Body Glove and Supra got behind. And it was online for the first year, wasn't it? And everyone submitted online. There was like an online part of the contest, and then there was also live events. And the live events were in 2021 in Atlanta. I did not want to go.
Really?
No. I don't know. Was there any events in between that, Lithuania and...
Probably. I don't know.
I can't remember. So I was like, oh, well, I was bummed because Nationals was like the weekend before, like Boat Nationals, but I didn't have a WWA membership. And I was like, I don't want to pay $200 just to ride a Nationals because I missed all the other events. But then I ended up needing it for Moxy Pro, which I didn't know. So I was mad. I was like, I would have done both. And so expensive. Like it was expensive to, at this point, like I'm paying for my own wakeboarding, right? So all my flights, all my entry fee, anything that is wakeboarding, like I'm paying for it. And I'm like, damn, it's kind of expensive. Like I had my mom come with me.
It adds up quick.
But my mom came with me, so she like got the rental car and the hotel, which is good. Like, but I did not want to go, really. And I'm practicing at Terminus like the Thursday night. And just finished riding. I changed. I'm dry. And I hear like a yell. And in like Tower 1, there's like unit pipes that were set up kind of like wedged together. You can kind of go pipe to pipe, but there was kind of a place where you could fall in between the pipes and not be seen by the dock or by anyone riding. You could get like stuck. And I don't know what made me notice it. I still can't remember. But I remember kind of like feeling like something was wrong. And I walked down, like started looking, and I could see a board sticking up in between the two pipes. And just the board, like where you could tell the person was like head down. And I started running. I was like, holy shit. So I'm running, and I'm luckily at Terminus, like the aqua park is like down by Tower 1. So the lifeguard was there, and someone else was riding that was like a worker. And so like, I'm like, hey, like yelling, like, help me. And I get around to the pipes and I can see him. He's like head down, board up, pass out, like,
oh, knocked out,
fully underwater. And I don't know how long it's been because nobody could see him. So I'm swimming and I get there and I know the routine, right? You're supposed to flip like gentle spine. You don't know what's going on. But because he's like wedged up and I'm only one person, I can't like get him down and flip him nicely to get air. So I just air first.
Yeah.
And I was like, you need to breathe. So I lifted him up, and his eyes are like so gnarly. I was just
still
like,
knocked out.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit! Like I just like, sorry, dude, like, I'm just getting you air. And the kids from Terminus, they did such a good job. Like, the 2 boys got there and immediately took over the scene. Like, they knew exactly what to do. They handled it so well. But the paramedics were like, dude, if you wouldn't have seen or would have taken 30 seconds longer, like, we could have had actual like problems.
Yeah.
He's okay. Everything's fine. Like, he came back to the event. We saw him. We hugged his mom. Like, it was, but that in itself felt like the reason that I was there. That felt like why I went. So me not wanting to go, all that bullshit, like that, after that happened, I was like, this is why we came. Like, who cares about the contest? Like, that moment and what just happened, like, my mom was like, oh my God. She didn't even realize I went over there. Because she worked in the hospital. She was an ER doctor, so she spent time in the hospital. So she eventually came over to the scene and kind of and saw me getting out of the water and was like, where did you come from? I was like, what do you mean? I've been here the whole time. So she didn't even realize that I had gone over to help.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was freaking crazy. And that's like not the first time I've swam for someone either.
Another time?
But that one, it was a little kid in Australia and he just took a front edge but he was fine too. But this one was gnarly. And yeah, so that happened and I don't care about the contest anymore, right? Because
saved some kid's life.
That was the big thing. Like, and for me, sometimes when it's chaotic leading up to an event, I do better because I'm not thinking about it. And then we did the boat event the next day, I think.
And I think it was boat first, wasn't it?
It was boat first.
Boat first, okay.
So
that was Friday?
Friday.
Was the boat day? Okay.
Friday, I think, was the boat day. It was in conjunction with the pro tour, so I don't know.
It might have been Saturday then.
I can't remember if we did. Either way,
yeah.
The boat event was first. We go out and we did the format of 2 runs, I think, in finals. So there probably was a semifinal, and then in the final we did 2 runs, no falls, which I like. Anytime there's like a different boat format, I'm all about it because I'm used to different formats from cable, so it doesn't really like stress me out. Okay, it's fine. But I did I don't know if it was my first or second run that won it, but I remember getting absolutely punted on a skeezer. Like, it was pretty rolly. So
the conditions look terrible.
Oh my God, it was brutal. So either you're getting doubled up or doubled down, right? And so I got doubled up on the skeezer. I remember being in the air like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. And then I landed, and that was like the big thing that helped me out. And I won. That was my first boat event that I ever won.
Really?
Yeah. Well, first pro boat event that I ever won.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't won a boat event for like, I'm a big, I heard Ty talking about this on his, but I'm a big second, third.
Okay, well, Ty, after he came on the pod, just won overall pro tour.
Yeah, I know.
So good juju.
Good juju
for you is what I'm saying.
Yeah, look at World is coming. But yeah, so I won, and that was awesome. And I was like, wow, cool, nice. You know, just stoked. And then we had the cable event the next day. And I think I made it really hard on myself. I don't think I rode good in like an early round. So then I made it where I had to have a harder head-to-head. I think I ended up having to be head-to-head with Anna. And we've done that so many times. Her and I, for some reason, we would always end up together. And that day I ended up, winning the heat. And it always goes either way. I feel like either she's going to kick my ass or I'm maybe going to win. Like
she's strictly just a cable rider. So
yes.
And everybody in that Moxy Pro cable side of contest. I mean, I think Megan was in there.
Megan rode both and maybe Huge.
Okay. Yeah, she was there.
I think maybe the 3 of us might have been the only people who rode in both.
Okay.
But yeah. So then I think Rivers beat me in like the qualifier round. So then I had a head-to-head with Anna, and that was hard. And I was like, oh shit, like, and I ended up winning that one. And then in that final, it was me, Rivers, and Julia. That was actually probably one of the coolest women's finalists I've ever been in. The level of riding I felt was insane. Like, we all did a 7, everybody, and I did things that I never even done before in that final because I was just feeling it.
You did, yeah, 3 on, 3 out of that, like,
Oh,
transition
I love
rail.
that
You did
rail.
front 7. I don't know if it was cab 7 or front 7.
Front 7.
But yeah, I think that was an interesting final when I was watching it back because you have Rivers, who's like super young, up and comer,
so good.
great style.
Yeah.
You, boat and cable rider. And then you have Julia Rick, who's just like...
Oh, she's a machine.
Like one of the cable goats.
Julia is going to put down a run that is hard to beat no matter where she goes.
Yeah.
So that final was really cool. It was awesome. And to win like both, that's crazy. Like I remember that first boat contest that I was telling you about that I fell twice in a row. So Megan actually, that was in nationals, I think. Megan actually won cable nationals and boat nationals. I think she won traditional features and boat in that event.
Wow.
And I remember being like, wow. And then to do that was crazy.
Especially after kind of not being super into wakeboarding just somewhat recently before that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was, I don't know. So that, of course, and the sponsors followed, Supra, Body Glove.
Okay.
Both sponsors of that event.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Besides the, 8 Gs, 4 Gs for the cable, 4 Gs for the, for the boat.
$8,000.
So that's a good payday.
Oh yeah, I was stoked. It was worth the entry. It was worth the entry fee that I was worried about.
Worth the $200 WWA membership. So Body Glove Supra, which comes first and how does that happen?
Body Glove came first. When I was at Moxy, Bob was like,
Bob Sylvan?
yeah, he was like, what's up? You want to? I was like, yeah, for sure. Didn't think he was being serious. He called me like a month or two later and was like, yeah, so let's talk shop. And I was like, damn, nice. And so then that became a thing, which was cool because Body Glove's such a cool brand. Currently, not really a thing anymore. I think what Bob was trying to do with the wakeboard team was awesome. Like he had such a huge vision and I was stoked to be a part of it. And I think just post-COVID budgets don't work out as we all hope they would because let's be honest, everything was like, yes, we're selling so much. And now, the wakeboard industry is kind of seeing like a little bit back to normal. But so, yeah, it's awesome. Like his vision and what he wanted to do was so cool. And I really appreciate that he was trying to make that happen for all of us because I know he really wanted to see all of us have longevity and just
sustainability.
Right now, it's kind of like him and I haven't actually really talked about it. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's super busy. I mean, he runs their whole surf team. Like
Bob Sylvan
yeah,
does.
he's doing a lot of stuff. Like so probably should, Bob, if you're listening, we should talk about it because we need to figure things out. But so then, yeah, Body Glove happened and then Supra happened because I reached out to them. I was flying back from somewhere on like New Year's Eve. I think we were in France. So end of 2021 going into 2022. We went skiing in France, Jack and I. And I was like, I feel like I'm just going to hit up Supra. So I sent an email to Rick, who forwarded it to Adam Higson, who used to work at Ronix. So I knew him through Ronix. And then, so I had a connection there. And I was like, hey, it'd be sick to work with you. If you're down, I'm down. And like, yes, let's do it. So it was just good timing for both of us, like mutual, we're both benefiting. And yeah, I guess all they can do is say no. So just ask.
Were you nervous to send, what was an email you sent to someone?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was kind of just like, it could be, it couldn't be. I wasn't really nervous. And like I said, because I already knew Adam, it wasn't hard to have that phone call because I was comfortable already in the relationship. But I'm stoked. It's worked out really good.
So that happened pretty quick though.
Yeah.
Send an email to Supra and then all of a sudden.
And then it was like in a few days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sell the G then, your parents, I'm guessing?
We still have
You still have the G. You're right behind the Supra though, I'm guessing.
Yeah. The G is the family boat that we've had forever.
Was that like first generation G probably? Or?
It was a 2014.
Okay, so yeah, it came out in 2013.
So I couldn't actually that one sunk. The original one sunk last year in that hurricane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it got fucked. Like poor thing, R.I.P. Like I saw it in the shop afterward and was like, whoa, that was really sad. I like cried like a baby when I saw that boat dead.
Yeah.
But the insurance gave my dad pretty much exactly what he bought it for. So he just got another one. he was like, do we want another one? And it's something we've always had. It's my dad's boat.
The family boat?
It's a family boat. And my brother like will come to Florida and use it with his friends. So yes, we still have that one.
Okay. So you get hooked up with Supra. And how quickly do you get a boat after that?
I got a boat probably not in the winter because like January, February, you're not really, probably like March, April.
Okay.
So I had one for the season. And then, so the first one I had for probably half a year or maybe almost a year. And then I got my next one. And I had an SA the first time and I have the SL currently. The SL is a foot longer than the SA and it is sick.
What's the difference between SA and SL? Is that just
It's just the length.
SL super long. Is that
I don't think that's what it stands for because there's one that's super longer than that and it's the SE, so super extra.
Okay, so
super
it's
extra.
SA, SL, SE.
Yeah, and this year we're actually doing SV as well, so there'll be 4 boats. So SV,
Okay.
SA, SL, SE. But so the SA is the Pro Wakeboard Tour boat, and the SL is the one that's a foot bigger. And the wake on the SL is so nice. Not saying the SA isn't, but like I
Have
think
you ridden behind all 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the SL the best.
Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, that's what I have. But it took me a while to figure out how to set everything up right because not a lot of people have had an SL. So, but now that we have it dialed, it is, I don't know, everyone's kind of like, damn, like that's pretty good. I'm like, I know. I'm telling you, like it is good.
Let's talk, I guess, when did you get married to Jack?
December of last year.
Okay. And you guys went on a honeymoon
We did.
to Bali.
Surf trip.
So I was talking to Jack a little bit
Yeah.
about this surf trip.
About our near-death experience.
Yeah. What was it, the last day?
Last day.
Let's run through that.
Okay, so we had been surfing pretty good. Like we had both bought new. Like this was my first time like actually surfing a shortboard, like in real surf. And it was also my first time on a surf trip where I can actually surf. Back in the day, I'd be like, I'm a surfer, but no. So we hired surf guides because the whole west side of the island was blown out, and that's where we normally surf. So we didn't know where to go on the East Coast, and they hooked us up. And Jack's a good surfer, so I got the surf guide to myself pretty much and just pushed me into everything. Like big. The first break we went to, it was a place called Sri Lanka, and the channel is huge. Like the paddle out is so far. The channel's huge, which is nice because you have a safety spot in the channel. But we rock up, and I can see this break. It is big. Like when we pulled up, the way the tide was, like it was spitting. And
How
they're
big
like,
are we talking?
at least like a head and a half for me, or more, like way over my head.
Okay.
By enough over my head. And I know this, right? The boys are like, nah, it's perfect size for you. I'm like, really?
I'm looking up at the waves.
I can see it from the beach. It looks too big. Like I know what waves look like. So we get out there and Jack takes a wave. He's fine because of course he's fine. He surfed his whole life. He grew up on the beach. And the surf guide pushes me into my first wave. Jack said he was paddling back out and was like, oh my God, like she's gonna die. I didn't die. I made it. And it's all like, we have to go right too. So we're on our backhand because this side of the island, everything breaks right. So I'm back, like I don't.
So you're surfing backside?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not as comfortable with that.
What you call it? Backside?
Yeah. Backsides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like back, and I'm like, I don't know. And Jack's just said he watches this wave. So we were surfing some real shit. And so it's going really well, right? We're super confident. Like we had the surf guy push me in, then we went out a few days without him. And I'm like taking off on waves that I would never have taken off on before. Like I'm like big shit. Like it was cool. I felt so like, it was like, yeah, this is a surf trip. This feels like real. Like I had waves that I'll remember forever. But then Bali belly. So I got sick with like 2 or 3 days left of our trip. Like we made it through like 10 days, 2 or 3 days left. I'm just blah.
Bali belly, is that a common thing?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
If you just get unlucky, like you drink an ice cube or have and it can happen really fast. So, but this was more like throwy uppy, not like the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good.
Montezuma's Revenge, I think is what they call it in Mexico.
Yeah,
But anyways.
yeah, exactly. Montezuma's, I like that. So I'm throwing up, just everything, like just, yeah. And Jack still goes and surfs because I'm not going to be like, no, you can't surf without me. And it was kind of nice. He normally doesn't just let me lay in bed, but I got to lay in bed for 2 days and watch Friends in our nice ass Airbnb. Like, I was fine, you know? And then the last day, so we're flying out at like midnight on this day. And Jack's like, come on, let's go surf. Like, it's your last day. Like, I didn't really want to surf. And I only surfed because I thought he wanted me to surf. And he didn't really care if we surfed. He just wanted me to surf. So big miscommunication there. We would have been both fine if we didn't surf.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Would have been all good. So we go out to the same break. It's Serangan. You have to like take a boat out to this break because the island, it's like a little tiny island, but it's closed off to the public. It's a government island. You can't walk on it. You can't drive on it. So you go to like the side and you take your little boat out. And the only way to get back to where you parked your bike is being out past the break on this boat that takes you back in. We get out there, we're on a little boat, and normally it's a great boat ride. You're like, oh, this is like a surf movie. It's so pretty. No, it was windy, wet, raining, shit. Like, not what you want. And I just remember being like, why? Why are we out here? Like, the swell was changing, and like a new swell was coming in. Everything was really raw. Like, it wasn't a clean, nice day. And so we start surfing, and I didn't really like it. I just didn't like the vibe of being in the water that day. And we had been surfing in one spot that was like kind of could break both ways, right or left, which was kind of nice. But it was kind of gnarly that day and just really blown out. So I paddled over to a left that I hadn't surfed before, but there was like 5 or 6 guys over there and it looked pretty decent. And it, like I said, it's big. It's like double. Like it was gnarly.
Double overhead?
I don't know why we were like, I don't know. That shit was gnarly. But normally, like, being on the wave is the easiest part, right? It's being in the water that is the hard thing about
like
surfing.
when you're not surfing.
When you're not actually surfing, everything else, that's the hard part. So making sure you're sitting in the right spot, making sure that you're getting under waves, making sure that you're not in other people's way. Like, the etiquette and the safety of being in the right spot, like, that's what's surfing, that's fine. When you're on the wave, that's the safest place you're going to be. So I paddle over to this left. Stupid. I should have stayed where I knew. And a big set comes in. Like, I'm pretty far out the back. I'm consistently paddling to make sure that I'm in the right takeoff zone. And just a bomb set comes in. I get swept in and just rolled. And just kidding, just gnarly. Like, and I'm okay. Like, I'm fine. But I don't know how I'm going to make it back out. So, like, Jack is really far away from me and I'm getting swept down. Like, and he told me all the things that could have happened to me afterward. In the moment, I was like, it's fine. I'll be fine. But it was pretty scary and no one else was around me. And if you get close enough to the beach, like, you can walk. Like, it's a reef kind of, it doesn't feel great. But so once you get shallow enough, you're okay. So I just got shallow enough to where I was fine. Like, I could stand up, I could breathe. I only went under like 2 or 3 waves.
Okay.
But I think for Jack, it was way scarier because he's watching me drift away from him in this big surf into a reef, into a place that we haven't been. There's rocks, there's a cliff face. Like, so for him, I think it was a way scarier experience.
Well, and he's not talking to you. You can't.
He's really far. He's far away from me. And he said no matter how hard, and like the problem is too, the channel fully disappeared. Like, normally there's like a safe place where the waves wouldn't break. It was gone. It was so messy that day that there was no safe spot to be. So he can't get to me. And by the time he gets to me, I'm standing, I'm okay. Like, but you know, that moment is like, holy shit, like, are you good? You know? So I think for him, that day was way scarier than for me because I'm there. Like, all right, I'm going to go under this wave, or I'm going to we had been in the water. So I was, I was not getting back out, let's be honest, but I was handling what was happening to me as good as I could. But then problem was we couldn't get back to the boat. So you need to paddle out to get home. And there was no way in hell that I was making it back out past that. Even Jack was like, we got to the beach on the closed, shut down to public island that we're not supposed to be on. We got to the beach and we're looking out and I'm like, there's no way. Bro. Like, I can't.
Not happening.
Not happening, you know? So we ended up having to walk, just us, our surfboards, on this closed island that we've never been to, and you're not supposed to be on. We had to hike back with our, and we're like trying to wave at the boat to let them know we're alive. It was like full stranded. So we're hiking back and just randomly choosing paths. Like, I don't know. We know the direction that we have to go. So, and it probably took us like 2 hours.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And you guys are leaving this day, right?
We're leaving.
You
Yeah.
got a flight to catch.
Yeah. And we got so sunburned, both of us. And he's getting roasted, like, because he has this little like vest on. Oh my God. So we had to like we were walking in the jungle barefoot. Like, we had to cross rivers. Like, we had to jump in with our boards and like swim across rivers, which I don't want to do that. Like, that's sus. And we finally got back to the beach where they take the boats off. And the locals are like, "Oh, what happened, boss?" Like, we called all the other boats. Like, they did check for us. Like, they knew that we were missing.
Yeah.
But we got back and they were all just like, "What happened?" Oh, worst day. Like,
Were you guys the only ones surfing there that day? Or
no,
there
there
some
was
other people?
probably like 10 to 20 people out.
Okay.
But it was like good people.
Like locals or people who know what they're doing?
Both.
Yeah.
Like, people who all the other days there had been like surf schools out there too. Like, it was always big, but there was always more people that like we shouldn't have been out there that day. Like,
Yeah.
It was nobody, like, everyone came in. As soon as we got caught inside, that's when everyone left too, because nobody else was surfing. Once we got to the island, everyone was going back to the boats. Like, it got gnarly.
Yeah.
It got gnarly really quick. And I got just swept away in the gnarliness.
Handled it though.
Lived. And it was probably the best thing that could have happened because we were feeling super good about ourselves that whole trip. Right?
Oh, building
we
some
were
confidence.
confident. I was like, "Oh, surfer now, bro. Like,
Surfing things easy.
this is good." Like, we went out with some of our like cable friends were there, and they came out with us, and they were like, "Damn, like, these are some big waves. Like, you just surf them." And so having that last day really kick our butts was very humbling, and I think that's important because the ocean, you're not in control.
Yeah.
Right. And I think when you start to lose respect for stuff like that, then that's when you're going to get in trouble. So I'm really thankful that we were okay and that did happen, because we left with knocked down a notch, which we needed. Because
a reality check.
A reality check.
Yeah.
We needed it. But we also could have just not surfed that day and it would have been fine. I blame Jack.
But you wouldn't have had a reality check,
Yeah.
and you might have next time you go
Yeah.
surf pipeline,
Oh, yeah.
I can handle
Totally,
it.
totally.
I was just talking to Eric Ruck here, and he had a couple things that maybe worth talking about.
Okay.
One, you get super hangry. Is that true?
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay, that's a normal human reaction to not eating.
Yeah.
At least for me as well.
See, maybe mine's a little...
Is it a little
it's a
little aggressive?
A little aggressive.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I'll start throwing some granola bars across the table here.
Yeah, I probably should have brought some snacks.
So the Social Shred Tour. Before we get into any of that, like what is and was the Social Shred Tour with Ronix?
So we used to, pre-COVID, we would get a group of riders and go to one of our reps in the different parts of America and just travel around. Like, you saw the one we did up north. Did we do a boat day?
No, I don't think so.
We
Well,
did.
maybe.
I can't remember. But we will go around to a bunch of different cables in that area and ride with people, have boards they can try. Just meet people who like wakeboarding and spend the day with them at the cable. So that's kind of what the Social Shred Tour was all about.
Okay. And then he had a specific one, the first Social Shred Tour you went on.
Yeah, that for me was probably the first time that I felt really like, oh, I'm in, you know. I went on a Texas trip with Timmy was our rep, is still the rep, I believe, there. And it was Timmy, Ruck, Parks, Dom, and myself. And that group of riders, like, you know, for me, I'm like starting to appreciate the history. Now I know things. I'm like, wow, okay, this is pretty cool. We did so much. I'm not even going to go into too much detail about that trip, but I will tell you that I grew up. That's for sure. But just to go on the road with them, we went to probably like 6 cable parks in 7 days. And Texas is big.
Yeah.
We even went to Louisiana. Like we we were driving. We would like drive 2 hours in the morning, and then we would drive 2 hours at night to the next place and stay at hotels. And it was funny, actually. We checked into one hotel, and think of the people I just told you, right? The check-in lady was like, wow, it's so cool that your dad just brings all his kids with him when he travels. Like, what? Like, do we all look like we are a family? Because we do not look like we're a family.
Yeah, Ronix is a family.
Yeah,
there
okay. Yes, that's true. But that's poor Timmy. She must have thought he was like so old, because how could, yeah, that was funny. But I learned to curb the hanger there. Timmy doesn't really eat lunch, the rep. So
Okay.
we didn't have a lot of food.
Or breakfast?
Well, there wasn't a lot of eating.
Okay.
So that's become an ongoing joke, in the Ronix thing, that, we didn't get lunch, or Timmy didn't feed Jamie lunch. And I learned that if you drink beer, it substitutes for food.
You've got a little bit of protein, got some carbs, and then liquid hydration,
So I'm hungry, have a beer. I was definitely old enough. But I just remember, I think we had a lot of beers and a lot of Cliff Bars. I don't like Cliff Bars, but Dom would be like, have a Cliff Bar. And I'd
Roughing
be like,
it.
okay. Oh, rough it, yeah. But that trip was really fun. Like, that was my first time kind of really going out and doing a Ronix thing with the Ronix team, not just being at Lake Ronix or doing photo shoots. So I knew everyone pretty well at that point, but that was, I don't know, for me, that's like a trip I'll always remember, because that was bonding. We were together like the whole time, and it was a big trip, and I was so hungry. So, but it was awesome.
Fun trip. I'm not going to ask how old you were, because you're obviously 21 at that point.
For sure.
Before we jump off Ronix, are any of the guys jealous that you have the best graphic on your board?
Oh, for sure. Obviously.
And it's not even really that close, to be honest.
The purple?
Yeah.
Yeah, the purple.
The
awesome.
spring break.
The spring break.
Right?
Yeah. It's a really great.
It's a great graphic.
Brit, like our art girl, she killed it. Like, every time she sends me, because we're working on new graphics, of course. Every time she sends me anything, I'm like, yep, first try, nailed it. Like, she captures the vibe.
Easy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about women's wakeboarding.
Okay.
So, in women's riding right now, boat or cable, in your opinion, what's the best thing that's going on right now with girls in the sport?
The best thing that's going on. Whoa, that's so general.
Doesn't have to be one thing. I mean, just like some of the best stuff that you're seeing right now that's going on.
Okay. I will say Copycats Club gets me hyped. Sina is a legit angel. She is amazing. Everything, all the work that she puts into Copycats, it obviously is paid off, because she created a community. And I think in wakeboarding, that's what works really well, is having a community around you, or around an event, or around a product. You can't just say, here's a board, buy it. But if you build a community and then introduce a board or something into that community, that is what's going to work. So that gets me stoked. I think just seeing everybody come together and, reading what other girls are thinking or what they feel, or seeing, there's some cool shit in Copycats Club mags. Like, the photos are awesome. So I think that created a really cool movement for women's wakeboarding, because it gave us a platform, and everyone needs a platform, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think we've seen some really cool stuff come out of that.
Yeah, a couple good movies too come out of it.
Yeah.
I think the new, is it the 5th edition or 5th?
Yes.
I think it just dropped anyways.
Yes.
So go scoop that up. I'll throw the link in the bio there, or in the description. On the other side of this, on the other side of the coin here, what do you think could be improved upon when it comes to the women's side of riding?
More events, I think, especially in the boat scene. I know I was super bummed. I missed Women's Wake League this year. I had a conflicting cable event, as always. Everyone loved it. I talked to a lot of the girls afterward, and they said the day was awesome. So if without that, and without some random extra events, there's only 4 major boat events that women can go to. It's the Nautique series.
Okay.
And you might not go to all 4 of them, because Masters only takes 8. So you could only ride in 3 events, like 3 major events. We have Wake Fest and we have XM, like the team challenge. But again, that's only 6 girls at the team challenge.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of just what we're lacking at the moment, is a place where we actually can have more than those few events for boat. Cable is all good. There's events all year round. You could do a cable event from May to October if you want.
Yeah.
Every weekend. But I guess that would be the thing that we're missing most.
More boat contests. The Women's Wake League, where was that held?
It was at Freedom.
Okay,
Yeah.
but great conditions. Always there because it's just
The riding that came out of that, I thought that event was done really well. The riding that came out of it was sick. The footage that came out of it was sick. Like, I was in Lithuania and trying to follow Women's Wake League, and a Pro Tour was happening that weekend. So we had Pro Tour, Women's Wake League, and Wake Duel. And the Women's Wake League was super easy. I could see what everyone was doing. I could see results. And Pro Tour, I was like refreshing, like who went through, you know? So I think that everyone who had a part in Women's Wake League, it was really cool, but it's hard for one guy to keep fronting events, to keep making it happen when other people aren't jumping on board. So,
well, it's tough too because it's not big enough to have totally separate, like, because that's tough, right? Because if you have a bunch of women's events and a bunch of dudes events boating,
I don't want that.
That's a lot.
I think for me, I would not like it to be women's and men's and separating, because I draw a lot of my inspiration from the boys, and I think, I don't know, I think without them, I wouldn't be as good of a wakeboarder as I am.
Sure.
So yeah. I wouldn't want to go to an event where every now and then it would be different to go to an event like Moxy we did, and that was cool. Like, it was sick to have the girls be the spotlight, but if every event started being like that, I don't know how much I would like it.
And I feel like it's a big conversation with a lot of nuances to it. One of the aspects is, like, if you have a men's pro event and there's no women riding in it, it's kind of a bummer for the girls, like the little girls who are riding, to go and not see girls
women
riding. Right?
Yeah, because then it looks like a man only. So it's a weird thing. A lot of people say there's an easy fix. Put us on the Pro Tour.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Yeah.
But I think that would solve a lot of problems. And I think too, maybe the first year, if we did get back on the tour, it might not be that equal pay fully for the first year, which I know it's a tough line, right? Because we work as hard, we compete as much, we do. Still, the boys are usually going through more rounds, and so it's such a gray area there. Like, I think the equal pay is a wonderful thing, but it's not always necessary. And I know that sounds maybe anti-feminine.
No, I was going to ask. I was curious your thoughts on that.
So I always thought, like, if you have an overall pro purse and, you know, you split it by percentage, if 70% men and 30% women, that's how you split the prize purse. I mean, I think for when I first started wakeboarding, the gap was way too big. Like, the pay gap in contest was, like, it was insane. Like, the men would win and they would win way, like, 10-3. Like, it would just be, so that's a bit big. And I think when we go to events and we have around the same amount of people competing, like, the boys in Worlds only have one more heat than us, I think. That's pretty decent. Like, that's, but it's just hard because going on the Pro Tour might mean maybe we don't have everything right away. Are we okay with that as a group of girls, to maybe take a little less the first year and then prove that we should have it the next year? I don't know.
Do you feel as though that maybe is, like, something that might be stopping the women from going on the Pro Tour? I think the immediate demand for. I
think sometimes it's a little bit intimidating when we as women come in, but we should to stand up for what we want, right? So I don't know. I'm always so conflicted on this because I see how hard all my girl wakeboard friends work, right? And I know that they deserve it, and they know that they deserve it. So why not ask for it? But then from a company standpoint, it's like, well, we watch the men do this and you do that, and we don't, I don't know. I don't know the solution. I don't know the right or the wrong answer. I'm more about getting a platform where we can be established and have a place to ride and show how good we are. And then maybe we gain more from that. So I think for me, it's less about the equal pay thing and more about getting a place where we can wakeboard, kind of.
Yeah.
And then maybe the equal pay will follow.
Okay.
I don't know. But it's a great movement. Like, I definitely think when I spend just as much to go all the way to Japan or Australia or wherever, like, I should make the same amount of money and I should have the same opportunities. Like Moomba this year, Corey from the WWA did a great job with this, but we went all the way to Australia. The boys only had one more rider than us, but they were scheduled for having an extra round of making it through the contest. So they had an extra chance to make it through, I think. And I was kind of like, well, I could see that happening if there was twice as many boys, but there's only one more boy rider. I flew all the way over here too. I think we should have equal opportunity to go through, right? So then in that case, when, I don't know. There's
a lot to it.
There's a lot to it, and everyone has an opinion on it, right? And I don't know. I try to kind of just stay in the middle of that, where obviously I'm a woman. Like, I want us to have the same opportunities and the same stage and the same outcomes as the boys, but I'm not blind. I watched them do double moves and heel tens, and that's it's undeniable. So, but I do think the level of women's wakeboarding has gone. Cable had just been skyrocketing. Like, you could take Claudia, put her in a men's event, she's probably gonna do pretty damn good. Like, and there's so many other girls that can stand that test as well. And for a while I was like, man, boat doesn't feel the same. But this year, everybody knows how to compete. In boat, like, there are no easy heats. Like, you need to land your shit to make it through to the next round. And that's really cool for me to see, even though it means I might not go through all the time. But I love seeing that progression. People are landing harder things more consistently. And I think if we keep on that track, then we definitely have a right to be like, hey, we're here. We're putting on a good show. Give us the platform. Let us show you what we can do, and then give us, the money or the whatever.
Yeah.
So I
think one of the big, I have thoughts on it, but I think one of the big things there is, like, at the end of the day, what are you selling? Is it a storyline or a lifestyle or whatever? And if the women's side of the sport has good riding, a good storyline, and you're selling a good lifestyle, then I think for sure, like, if you're getting people to the events and you're selling boats and you're selling wakeboards,
then why not?
Then 100%.
Yeah. There
has to be a platform for the riding, though, whether it's the Women's Wake League or there's a way to figure out how to mesh the two, which would be awesome, I think.
I'm hopeful. I feel like I heard some comments this last weekend at the Pro Tour and the Team Challenge that made me kind of hopeful that maybe we might be more involved. So that's awesome. For me, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because yes, I want that, but then how am I going to ride cable?
Okay, let's talk about contest scheduling.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with that?
I hate it. Okay, this is my least favorite part of wakeboarding, because I'm always letting someone down. No matter what I do, I have to tell someone no, right? And that sucks, because they have put effort into inviting me to a contest that they made it known that they would love me to be there, and I have to tell you no. I don't like that. So this year especially, I feel like I've had so many conflicting boat and cable dates, and that's hard. It doesn't affect a lot of people, but just know that if I had to say no to you this year, like, I am sorry, because I hate doing that.
Does boat take precedent and priority?
Not always. Not always. I think I definitely choose based on priorities, because you have to, right? Like, that's just how it goes. But I weigh every decision based on what's going to be better for me, kind of. And I don't always make the right choice, that's for sure. Like, this year I chose between Women's Wake League and Wake Duel. And the last 2 wake duels coming up to this one, I took a third and a second. Oh, I came third in the first one, not second.
Oh.
And the most recent one was the
Got
one with
second.
Claudia. Well, not the most recent one. I got second. Whoa, we were way off. It's okay. Going back, I came third, and then 2021, I came second.
Okay. I can fact check.
2022, I came second. 2021, I
got
came third.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, whoa.
And then this year,
I went to Wake Duel thinking, well, I got third, second,
first place.
first place.
Natural progression.
It's mine, right? That's what's going to happen. And the way Wake Duel works is you get drawn randomly. So the seeded people could be against the seeded people and vice versa. So me and Rivers got drawn in the same bracket, which meant that one of us couldn't make the final. So that sucked because a lot of the other girls who normally would be in the final are hurt or pregnant or like there's a lot going on, right? So there's a lot of people that weren't there. So but there's so many girls now from everywhere. So it's, like I said, no easy heats in anything anymore. But so I went all the way there, missed Women's Wake League because I thought Wake Duel was going to be better exposure, better results, better, and lost to Rivers early. So I'm out. Like I can't make the final. Like I'm done. That sucks because I could have been at this other event where maybe I would have done better, and I had to tell Women's Wake League no. And I wasn't there with all the girls doing this new thing that looked actually really awesome.
Yeah.
So that sucked, And same thing, like just this last weekend, we were at Pro Tour. I rode on the Pro Tour. Did not do good. That sucked, but it's okay. And the team challenge. And so originally that weekend was supposed to be a weekend prior. And the street jam that happened in Rotterdam with all the winching, I was supposed to go team challenge, Pro Tour, street jam, worlds. But the team challenge and Pro Tour had to move to the same weekend as street jam. And priorities, super event. Like I'm of course I'm going to go to the boat event. Like that is something where we did demos as well. Like that was a big weekend for Supra and for me too, like 2 events, getting to ride on the Pro Tour, the team challenge is awesome. So stoked that I went to that. Like it worked out really well, had a great weekend. But I was spending most of Friday on my phone on the live stream for the street jam watching. All of us were. We were sitting in a row, like the Pro Tour is happening, and we're all sitting like in the tent in our chairs. All of us on the live stream next to each other, just commenting, like, "Yeah, this is sick," So there's a wakeboard event going on in front of us, but we're also all watching this other wakeboard event. Yeah. So that did have reach. Like the what the boys did, like that was so cool. I had so much fun. Like I wish I could be in 2 places at once because I had the best time ever at Pro Tour and the team challenge. Wouldn't have missed it. But the FOMO that I had not being also at Street Jam was really hard.
Yeah. Like
that's when you have, and I feel like I'm always being pulled in 2 directions. Like I have my best friends here, but also best friends here. And I want to be with everybody. And I don't want to tell anyone no. That's my least, like yard sale, double or nothing.
Summer's short. So some of these, right, like stuff gets moved around. Like there's going to be cable contests and boat contests. There's going to be overlap.
Oh, for
like
sure.
It's going to happen and you're not going to be able to do all of them.
Yeah.
But some of these events, last year or the year before, there was yard sale and then there was like some Panama or bullshit at like, I don't know where it was, but like it was a decent sized contest. That shouldn't happen. That should absolutely not happen. Yard sale and double or nothing.
Well,
these should not happen.
They're also both Red Bull Wake events. And they're on the same day. I don't know what happened.
It shouldn't happen. I don't know who's pulling the strings. Call me. I want to talk to you because this should not happen.
You are mad.
I'm mad because cable riders, I think, would watch Double or Nothing. We were talking about it.
Yeah, they would. And like a lot of people in Orlando would go up to Valdosta for yard sale. But all those people now are going to ride in Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So God, that one sucked. I had a really hard time with that decision too.
Have you did yard sale 3? The third one?
I didn't do last year.
So it was the year before. Or was it 2 years? 2 years before. You did one though.
I did do one.
Okay.
Yes.
Great event.
Oh, I love yard sale.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like and I'm so bummed again that I'm not going because I want to be there. I want to support that, but Double or Nothing, first time women are in it.
Oh, it's huge. And I'm not taking anything away from Double or Nothing other than the fact that they scheduled the wrong weekend. But all I'm saying is, like, I think there's going to be overlap, but some of these contests shouldn't overlap.
It does. It really sucks. And I don't know what you can really do about it.
Yeah, I'm not putting anything on you. I'm just saying in general, like.
No, it's a bummer. I hate to see it because wakeboarding is small enough.
It's too small for this.
It is. And we are one sport, right? And if we're trying to, like, sometimes it feels like I'm two totally different sports. And it just sucks. I wish that I could have a clone and be everywhere always.
Yeah.
Because
teleport to both locations.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Double or Nothing. Enough on the scheduling. I got a little heated there.
Yeah. So it's okay. That's how I am most of the time. I just had a whole season to deal with it, so it's not fresh for me.
So first time women are going to Double or Nothing. It's you and Megan, right?
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
I am so nervous for that contest. I have no plan. The plan is to not miss the double ups currently.
To connect on them. Okay.
Yes. So that is my problem, is the timing and not looking where you're going, looking at a roller. Like, how am I supposed to not look where I'm going? I don't know. So the hardest part is the pressure of going out there, and it's very possible to go out there and not connect on any of your dubs. That could happen. You know what I mean? So easily that could happen. And that would suck if that happened, because that's not a good look. But I think what's more important is that we are showing we want to be involved, that we're trying to be involved, that we can do it too. It's a big platform. Like I just said, I want the platform, right? I want the moment. And that's the moment. But in those moments, you either succeed or you're going to fail. And a fail is never really a fail, because you're going to learn, and you learn more from when you lose than when you win, in my opinion. But I'm super, super nervous. My plan is, I learned a double back roll for some reason this year, and I would like to do that. Even just try it. I don't care if I land one or not. It'd be sick to go out there and at least try to do 2 flips, right? I haven't tried it yet, and Double or Nothing's in like 2 weeks, because we had Team Challenge and Worlds. So going out and trying something like that when you have other responsibilities, like I feel like I had a wakeboard for so many different things this last few weeks. Like Pro Tour, that was a different run. Team Challenge, a different run. Worlds, a different run. Hit double ups too, by the way. Make sure that you don't suck at that. So I've just been trying to hit them and time them well.
Yeah.
And actually connect, so that when we get back from Portugal, we can just go for it.
Well, it's good. It's the end of the season, right? That's like the
idea.
Well,
it's kind of like, well, like nobody wants to get hurt, but if you're gonna do it,
there's a time.
Yeah, like I kind of overcommitted to something in April.
Is this the double? Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, you can say it. It's cool.
I don't have to.
No, it's cool.
Double roll the blind.
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. So I was at Lake Ronix and was just doubles, easy landing, perfect, loving it. Take it a blind. I was like, yeah, sick. I totally can. Got smoked. Went to blind on the only one I didn't pop on, of course, right? Because you're always thinking about the ending, blind, not the beginning. And didn't take a back edge, but I like crumbled, like my knees, like I mean, have you seen the clip? Like I go, and if I would have been a little higher, it would have been a pretty good attempt. But I just like get stuck a little bit backward, and my legs just like bent in. So crunchy. I was fine, but that really messed me up for like a month, because my ankle was fucked up. And like my massage therapist, like when she would like just the crunch, nasty. So I think that also like set me down a path of, my wakeboarding is, because I was really confident. Like we did some cool, I'm really excited the Ronix stuff comes out like now, because we did some, like Moomba went well. We did some really cool stuff at the product shoot that I'm really excited for everyone to see. And so my riding felt great. And then I took that crash, and then I just was like, meh. And I came back I took that crash and I went to LAO. That's why I did a toe back one off the kicker, if anyone's wondering.
That's what Jack said.
If anyone's wondering why I didn't do anything bigger off the kicker, because I had hurt. And like that comp went well. That's a whole different story, the LAO thing. But So then I got back from LAO and I couldn't do heel 7 anymore. And coming into masters, and that's all I wanted to do. And I couldn't ride both good. Like, it was just, so learn from my mistakes. I got a little greedy trying that at a time when I probably shouldn't have tried.
That's boring though. That's boring.
It is.
You felt good.
Yeah, I
Come
felt
on.
good.
The boys
I
are
was
cheering you
yeah,
on.
Come
You
on.
just
No,
gotta go
I'm not
for
going
it.
to say no. So, yeah. So I got smoked. That was brutal. But then I took that experience and said, yes, I know. Because when I'm getting frustrated hitting double ups, because it's not an easy process. Like, it's a frustrating process. I'm like, I just want to send a double. Come on. Like, that's what I want. Like, whatever. I don't care. But I'm like, no. Let's think about all the things. Like, you need to go to Worlds. You need to ride in that for your overall ranking for next year. Like, I think I'm in 4th. I don't care so much about finishing the overall on the podium. I just don't want to have to do an online LCQ for Masters because that's so hard because everyone is so good that the video thing is so. But the plan is go to Portugal, hopefully do well, come back and just go for it. And I'm not afraid of doing 2 flips. I've done so many, like, also, I feel like this totally kind of flew under the radar, but I did a double in a contest this year, and I feel like nobody even knows about it, which is...
So how many people have done girls have done a double?
None. In a
Done a
contest? Oh, I don't know. A lot.
Huge did the first one.
Huge
right?
did one on boat, and then like a lot of people have done it on...
I'm talking boat, yeah.
Boat, only
Yeah.
one. Only one.
Just
Cable,
huge.
just huge.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was awesome. She stuck. I actually scrolled back to watch hers like the other day because I was like, all right, what does she do? Like, I want to look at it and see because she made it so good. Like, she stuck it so perfectly. So I've kind of been like, looked at it and was like, all right, she just went for it.
Yeah.
You know? But I did do one in a contest this year but on cable. But I don't
Well, you gotta do it on boat.
Yeah, I know.
So if I pull out my crystal ball,
Mm-hmm.
I see you and Thomas Herman.
Yeah.
First woman in double or nothing, double up. It'd be the first. No, someone's done a double off a double up, right?
A girl?
Woman? Yeah. No?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm
So
sure.
I'm asking you. Okay, so
I'm
first
sure the only double on boat by a woman is huge.
Okay. So you land the double.
Mm-hmm. It'd be the same flip. It'd be the same double flip.
Sure, but it's off double up.
Yeah.
In a contest.
Hopefully.
So, and then Thomas lands a triple.
I
plan.
think we could see a triple.
Thomas is so close.
Mm.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's going to do it. I hope so, at least. Let's talk some technical mumbo jumbo. People want to know what boat. We talked about what boat you have and you ride on.
Mm-hmm.
What's the rope length, speed, weight, all that?
75 feet, 22.6. I think that's my good speed right now. And the boat has a lot of weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of weight in it.
A lot of people actually too as well. But I think without, like, not saying that you need the weight, right? But we're trying to match the Pro Tour like style of wake, and the comp wakes are always so big because there's filmer, there's photographer, there's a family who wants to watch you ride. So you have to like try and match that. So we just try and make it as similar to the comp wakes as we can.
Okay. Boat board, size, stance. Do you know all that?
Yes. I ride the Ronix QTM 1212. And there's like, it's pretty wide stance. I think I'm on like 1 in.
Okay.
Yeah. RXC boots.
What size board?
134.
134.
Yeah.
And then cable?
143 on the spring break. Same stance, a little narrower.
So still kind of wide, a little bit.
A little narrower.
Same 12-12.
Same 12-12, a little narrower.
Okay.
But not like skinny stance. I've realized I can't ollie when I have a skinny stance.
Really?
Yeah. I look back at videos of like me when I was younger. I was like, how could I ollie so good? And I'm like way wider. That's how.
I mean, you can ollie higher with the wide stance for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
It
true.
makes a difference.
Let's talk. So we were talking about boat and cable.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a bunch of ladies that do that.
Mm-mm.
Why is it something that you still pursue both sides of?
I have no idea. Sometimes I wonder what I could have done in one if I did just do one. But I don't know. I don't really think anyone really does it anymore as much.
Yeah, even Megan, not as much. She's
boat rider.
Yeah.
She came to MASH though and she killed it, which was cool to see. But yeah, obviously the money's better in boat. That's a real thing. you win one boat contest, it's the same as probably winning 4 cable comps.
Yeah.
So that's a big draw, especially as you get older and you realize that, whoa, I
Got
need
bills to pay.
You pay for stuff. But I don't know. Like next year, for example, if there's more boat events, I don't know what I'm gonna do because, you know.
I mean, if you had to pick boat or cable, it sounds like you're picking boat.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think
There's no wrong answers. I mean,
there's no wrong answer. I think boat, like, there's more room for landing new stuff.
For you.
Doing NBDs and stuff like that, which I kind of lost sight of this year. It's kind of what I was doing, and then I got really, I don't know.
You got any, you got a list that you're working on?
Yeah,
NBDs?
there's so many things that I like kind of tried or wanted to try and just like got.
You got a few of them. What are they?
Well, I did try some KGP 5s.
Yeah.
In like May on the boat. No, April? No, March. God, like before, like so long ago. I tried 2 and then I had to go to Mumbai and then I came back and then we had the shoot and then, yeah, but that's kind of like what I'm looking forward to is I need to get back into that because that's what makes me happy right now with wakeboarding. But you get so caught up in all the other stuff that you're doing and there's so many events, right? And how do you miss event? Like, I'm just not going to go to events anymore like that. Because if you say no, and you're invited, they're not going to invite you again.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to get back to trying that stuff and like could probably maybe do some 9s on the boat.
You know what that would be great for? A video part.
Yeah.
Is stacking a bunch of tricks and putting it in a video part.
So
let's talk the future of Jamie Lopina.
Okay.
What does the future hold? I mean, obviously a bunch of contests, but like landing some MBDs. Like what's the next couple of years looking like for you?
That's what I would like to do. I want to get through the next 2 comps, couple comps. And, well, I guess Double or Nothing is a chance for me to get back to start doing that again. I want to make a video part. I want to winch. I want to do all this stuff, but it never happens because it's not easy to make that stuff happen, right? But I know I intend on filming in the fall for sure. Got a lot of time to just ride and hopefully it's going to be nice out. And the goal is to land stuff, to make a part, to whether it's my own movie or involved in something else. Like I know the options are there and I just need to do it sort of thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So let's run through some quick questions here. Wake pants, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't hate.
Do you like them though?
I've never worn them. But I think it's kind of cool when people do. I don't know. Do what you want to do. Doesn't bother me.
All right, I like it. Favorite wakeboard movie?
Oh wow, that's a hard question.
Have you seen a lot?
No.
Okay.
That's why it's a hard question.
I can tee some up for you. Have you seen The Debut?
I have. I've seen The Debut.
Okay. Have you seen? I'm trying to think of some boat movies. 12 Honkies is a good
Yeah.
one.
No, I've seen.
Quiet Please. That's a good one. I don't know if you've seen that.
I watched Scumline too.
Scumline. There you go.
All good.
Coalition.
I'm gonna give it to Sewer Cats because
there we go. I didn't even say it.
That surprised me most.
100%.
Because I like all those other videos. Like I know that everyone's gonna rip, right?
Yeah.
But I remember watching Sewer Cats and was like, damn, what am I doing? Like, why am I also not doing that? I think I called John Dryling the next day. I was like, I want to go winching.
John's the guy for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Sewer Cats and Sewer Cats 2 both are.
Yeah. Yes. Both. The
sneaky.
whole. They're like.
The second one especially, I really like.
I just remember watching that and being like, damn.
Cena and the girls are
They're
really
ripping.
putting on.
Yeah.
Top 3 cable parks to ride at. Your favorite 3?
Well, I have to give it to ND. Come on.
Okay.
Number one.
Number one.
Number one.
Number one in your heart and in the park. Okay.
I would say in America, I really like Terminus.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I like going there. It feels nice. Something about it feels nice.
It's a tight park. I like tight parks.
It's cool. And
doesn't have to be in America. It can be anywhere.
I know. It's so hard to pick between them. I really like, I mean, obviously 313 is awesome, but some of the just smaller cable parks, like there's a place called Totem they have an event there and it's so fun. Like, I don't know. I kind of base my cable parks off of places where I've had fun.
Vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
vibes.
90% of it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Power rank these 5 water sports.
Oh.
Wakeboarding, wake foiling, wake surfing, swivel skiing, and tubing.
Okay, tubing is 5th.
Okay.
I hate tubing. Wakeboarding is 1st.
Okay. You got foiling, surfing, and swivel skiing. I think it's called swivel skiing. You know what I'm talking about with the foot
That's
thing
probably
in
really
the
hard to
middle?
do.
Probably.
I mean,
Some things are hard to do, but are they worth doing?
I don't know. I'm going to give controversial wake surfing 2nd.
Whoa, okay.
Just based off, again, vibes for me, okay? Because I love to surf. Florida is not always surfy. So I like to go and wake surf because it feels like surfing. That's the only thing I'm basing this power ranking off.
I mean, you crack a couple cold ones with the crew.
It's nice,
you know,
okay?
you're wake
And then
surfing.
foiling. Come on, foiling's pretty cool.
Okay, so
Yeah.
swivel skiing.
Swivel skiing comes in 4th.
Okay, didn't come in last.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a big small child tuber, and as a grown up, I just think it's a waste of gas.
It's a waste of gas and it hurts.
It really hurts. I get more wrecked tubing than on anything else I do on the water.
There's a cutoff. There's an age
No,
cutoff for tubing.
I did one tube shoot with Brooks, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Well, was Brooks driving?
I think he would have been.
Oh, okay, well, that's why.
Yeah.
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 Brooks Wilson, for those who don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, no. I did one, and I never came back. I said nope.
Oh, all right. Let's run through a couple Patreon questions. This one's from John Dreiling. He says, Jamie, you love to send it on a skateboard and dirt bikes in the Philippines.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit too close to contest. Tell us about some of the slams you've had.
Yeah, so the Philippines, I was we were in like a little moped gang, all going to this waterfall or whatever, and I just like took a roundabout kind of hot. And I think we went around the wrong side of the roundabout just to be goofy, right? And slipped out and just full road rash, like all the way up my leg. Like I have a scar, like you can see it. And I cut my elbow open too, and I had to get stitches. And that was my first time getting stitches as like an awake person. Not like I had surgery when I was little, but and that was horrible. I just remember being there like, I don't like it, that was right before Worlds. So I didn't ride for a few days. And I'm in the Philippines, like infections, hello.
Yeah.
Like that's not good. So that was one time I crashed and everybody knew about it. Like there's a video of me just bloody, just like nasty. And the other one, the skateboard, I broke my leg skateboarding back in the day in Orlando, probably when I was like 18.
Really?
Yeah. I lied to my mom and told her that I did it wakeboarding because we just moved here for wakeboarding and I hurt myself skateboarding and I couldn't wakeboard. So naturally she was not very happy, but I went to drop in and just missed. And
What part of your leg?
my tibia or my fibula, one of those.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, I like fell inward and yeah. So I stopped skating after that, and then I picked up skating again through COVID, and then once I started wakeboarding again, I kind of was like, oh, maybe I just won't skate. But I did build a mini ramp in my house.
You still have it?
It's in the garage.
Oh.
Well, it's like in pieces because Jack built something else. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you want to see the sport go next? It's kind of open-ended question.
Okay.
Take it wherever you want.
My dream, right, would be like X Games style sport. When I watched the girls in X Games this year for the big air in snowboarding, that moment of this is my last attempt. I'm trying an NBD. The lights are on. I'm on the camera. Like this is a moment. Like that feeling and that experience. That's what I want out of wakeboarding. And that did you watch that big air by any chance? First 2 triple flips by woman.
No, I don't think I did that.
Done back to back. Insane. I remember watching that and just, that's what inspired me I went out and did a double like the next week because I was like, no shit, these girls are doing 3 flips, 1 jump, like over ice. Like, come on, I can do 2 flips over water on an up, like the Lake Ronix booter. not to discredit anything crazy that's gone on there.
There's a reason Trent has landed a bunch of crazy stuff.
That thing is like
not to take away from it.
No, exactly, but it's a gem. So I was like, I got it. But that, and will that happen? Will we have those moments? I don't know. And this year when I've been competing, like I haven't felt like I care, which is bad because I care afterward. I don't care before.
But in the moment. But
then when I don't do good, it hurts. I'm like, damn, like why didn't I, if I just make it, because we have those moments, but they're a smaller scale, right? They're not under the lights live on TV in front of a huge crowd, like, but they're still there. And I think I need to do a better job of realizing that those moments are there and actually using them and creating that moment for myself. Like everyone gave me shit for being so nervous for the team challenge, but I actually think I created a moment for myself and then I rode really good. So maybe I need to just having light bulbs here as we're talking.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
It's good.
Makes diamonds. So that would be really cool. I mean, when I listen to Ruck's podcast and Rusty, like the shit that they got to do, wow. You know, that's a different life. That's a different sport. That's not what wakeboarding is now. Will it ever be that again? I don't know. But if you could ask me where I would like to see wakeboarding, that's where I would like to see wakeboarding.
Good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got here. Is there anyone you want to thank? Anything else you want
Everybody.
to talk about?
You know, parents. Without them, what would we do? For me, I wouldn't be here. Of course, like Ronix, Supra, Body Glove, and Bob, like everybody who's given me and Marine Products as well. A lot of people who have supported me throughout the way and watched me ride and helped me, coached me, and just, That's definitely, it's an individual sport, but without a group of people around you can't wakeboard alone.
I did forget. Is Josh, your brother, is he going to the show? What's the deal with that? Is he going to the NHL?
So he's played in the AHL last year. Ducks have his rights for 2 more years, I believe. Apparently there's a 4th line center open. If he wants it, he's got to go get it.
Okay.
That's the word on the street.
How often do you get to see him play?
More often than you would think, probably. I mean, I went to I loved it growing up. I went to every hockey game. So I saw him win the Natty. That was cool.
Was it, where was that?
With UMass.
Okay, that's where he played. Okay. Gotcha.
So I was there for I'm there for a lot of the big moments. I was there for his first pro game, his first AHL game. I was there. I'll be there for his first NHL game, no matter where it is. Yeah. You know, that's something that we'll be at. So, but I think.
Well, once he starts playing in the NHL, you can go to the Lightning games when he's playing Lightning. Or there's Florida Panthers and Lightning.
Yeah, so. Lightning is a bit closer.
Yeah.
But it's
wild.
That's wild.
So your brother is, how old is he?
22.
So what, a couple years younger?
3 years younger.
3 years younger than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just getting paid to play hockey.
That's unreal.
It's cool. Like it's definitely, for me, of course there's a little bit of jealousy there because his sport will actually provide him probably a lifelong money bank kind of. So I try my best to help him realize the opportunity that he has doesn't come around to everybody. So hope he
gets to the NHL and has a fruitful career.
Yeah.
Putting pucks on net.
Pucks on net. He's got it. Like he's very talented, and I think kind of a bit of a late bloomer in that, and smart too. So it's all there. He's got all the gear. He just needs to.
He's got puck knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know all the stuff you got to do.
You know the drill.
All right. That's it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.